it go.
Let it go. Lord, help me let it go.
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 Let it go. Lord, help me let it go.
Help me let it go. Yeah, let it go. Yeah, let it go. Help me let it go. Master Jesus, let it go. Help me let it go. Go, 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 go. Oh, let it go. I'm tired, let it go. Give your heart to Jesus. Let him take control. Just sit and watch it. I know it hurts you, and I know it's painful. No way to wait, so your best friend is not your secret enemies. Let it go. Your wife is getting married to another man. Your husband are falling in love with another woman. Don't let it bother you. I say let it go. If someone overlook you because you live in zero, if they insult you because you don't have nobody, if you say you will continue to be a zobo, if you say you will continue to be a prostitute, if you say you will continue to be a beggar, you will not marry, you will not bear your own children. If you say your knee is for a borrow, Sunday go to meeting, mommy can say no, Johnny Ginger. Just let it go. Jesus will change your story. Let it go.
Well, good evening, good afternoon. We want to welcome our viewers and listeners across the globe. Thank you for joining us. Very shortly, we're going to get this program going here.
Let it go. Lord, help me let it go.
Help me let it go, man.
Yeah. Mighty blow. Holla, holla. Nobody do it like you do it. You a true God. Yes. You always hear me when I say my prayer with few words. But Jenna said, in the place in this new world, be the power every day. And while I'm still a good boy, Jehovah bigger than your problem, so just let it go. Just keep on praying, He will make your blessing overflow. To be the best and more the rest, you gotta pray more. The God of Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, the God of mighty blow. But there is power in your blood. And while I'm giving praises, yes. I gotta dance that David did. They think I'm getting crazy. But love is how you make it, brother. May not be. He say every time I sing, I'm on my knees, begging God for mercy. Thank you for your love, blessing, and forgiveness. You solved my problem, Lord. You took me from the wilderness. Now only you can feel my struggle when I'm very stressed. So my papa bless me, then my enemy they get it best. No matter what the problem is, man, just let it go. Your delay is not your denial. Everybody know. Just keep on trusting in Jehovah. He will give you more. He took me from the grass. He can take you from the rocky road. Yeah.
We want to welcome you. I'm Alfonso Zienso to the Liberia Public Radio and LPR-TV. Very shortly, we're going to get this program away. This is your regular Tuesday, Wednesday. I'm right here this evening. The forum will soon get on the way.
All kinds of sickness, Lord, help them. That sickness that devouring you, I say, let it go. The barrenness. Pack your law and go.
All right, we're gonna pack these laws of corruption, dishonesty, deceptions in our country from all sides, politicians, tech actors, and even those of us in the media. We got to pack those laws and go.
Let it go, man. Oh, I'm tired. Pack your law and go. If you're beginning, take your chemo. Let it go. Your best friend take your horse, man. If your wife say we are not compatible, let it go. Your husband say you're not matter, then just let it go. If someone here for you before, yeah, they kill your mother and they kill your father.
So much is going on in Liberia and other parts of the world. Very shortly, my team of analysts, contributor right here to the Liberia Public Radio will be joining me here in a real-time conversation. No holding back. We're going to keep it proportional. And of course, you, our viewers and listeners, you are no exception to the talking point. And so we got to keep it proportional. But we might have these conversations with honesty. Welcome, I'm Alfonso Z, and so this is the forum to right here.
Your best friend is not your secret enemies. Your money long, don't even want to see you. I your just side, they call you for nothing. I say in your family, they call you useless. But one day, Jesus will make you useful. So let it go, 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 go. For how long will you hold?
Yeah, I want to go and get tough, and the tough gets going in our lives, in our at times. You know, you become like a neglected person, no respect. You're like, oh, for nothing, man. Who is he? Who is she? And then that sort of identity is being placed on you. Stigma is being placed on you. People make. I want to determine the future of your future to determine your destiny. But that's not why it is. Courtesy song there by Minister Jemima to Walcott, Liberian gospel artist based in the motherland of Liberia, making a contribution here.
Oh, yes.
All right, we are not in South Africa, but that's the beauty. Folks, we want to welcome you. Thank you for sharing your event with me, wherever you are. We're going to discuss a wide range of issues. News making headlines in Liberia, the saga of the vessel, the explanation being provided. You will be shocked to know Liberia Public Radio last September, we were on this case. Who kicked the can down the road? If somebody is covering up, we're going to bring you that exclusive interview that I had September, way back. And there was a red flag raised on this vessel here, why no one acted. These and many more are going to be the talking points and other news making headlines in Liberia. Let's fasten your seatbelt. Let's get ready. Let's get the show rolling. And two of us are going to do it here this evening. Whether the laborer is here, the laborer is not here. It's going to be a cool night, but hopefully we're going to have a conversation. We're going to bring you the press conference. The Liberia Public Radio crew was also at the the Maritime Commissions when they had their meetings. Let's get the ball rolling. Okay, folks, let's get the ball rolling here. As usual, I'd like to take you around the world, some of the news making headlines, keeping it proportionate. We don't just want to be all about Liberia. So we ought to be very cognizant and aware of what is happening. We want to welcome our viewers, our listeners. You agree, whether you agree or disagree with us, that's okay. That's part of the conversation. And we do not sanction voices or opinion expressed on this network. What we call for is complete civility, and that you must be aware, whatever you say, what you talk, what you tweet, if someone also tweet that, will it meet your approval? How will you receive it? So just put things in your shoe when people are reacting. So let's see here some of the news making headline. The government of the Republic of Liberia, GOL, is denying owing CH running hospital employees for 30 months. Remember, our guy, Moses, was at the Plus, the incarcerated to bring you that information. Now, government is denying, and that's okay. We're going to be keeping that. Our guy already here. Amacry makes threat. People are provoking revolution, according to the New Dawn newspaper in Liberia. And in other news, making headlines here. Let's see if we can bring this news here as well, and so that we can get it going. I believe my team of analysts, they are already here, and we're going to be having this conversation here very, very shortly in today's editions of the forum here. Let's take the quick break here, and I will be right back.
You've worked for months to bring your or your client's event to life, but unfortunately, the world had another plan. In reality, the only thing you lost is the venue. We take your vision for hosting a virtual conference and bring it to life online. No matter how complex your agenda is, we produce a smooth, engaging experience. Call the Liberia Public Radio today and schedule your event. Our number is 682-433-8802. If you prefer to submit your request via email, please send the request to liberiapublicradio2012@gmail.com. Our staff are standing by waiting for your phone call.
Okay, there you have it. If you have a planned event, let us know. We're here at Liberia Public Radio. Let's do a quick run here, and I'm going to be breaking in my guest here. Dr. Nyan, to Senator DeLon of Mossorado County. Who next? The cause of petty politics envy. From the Federal Republic of Nigeria, police rescued 2 abducted Bethel Baptist students in Nigeria in the state of Kaduna State. Reports from Mali say, according to international cable wire, that the France 24 to Mali interim president or leader Colonel Asman Goutat announced in a nationwide television that he is doing well following an attempted coup or attempted assassination on his life in the capital of Bamako, Mali. That was on Tuesday. 100 kidnappers of villagers, mainly to women and children, free in Nigeria on Tuesday, following negotiations with the adoptees. They were held, according to the report, they were held for 42 days. Rebel forces in Ethiopia, Tigray region, to launch a new offensive on the capital. Lebanese PM, Prime Minister, accused of the blast in Beirut to cover up and the trial to move on. So these are news making headlines in across the globe, Liberia and other parts of the world. Welcome. This is the forum. I'm Alfonso Z, and so as usual, your angered. My team of analysts, Professor Ase Labozavlo, is standing by near the capital of Washington, D.C., proximity, but actually it's in Maryland area. I'm going to be breaking here very shortly, and the other folks, once they come on, we're going to be having a conversation here. Let me just go down to the Maryland area there, to where I was senior contributor and political analyst of the Liberia Public Radio, who also, fair to mention, support the work of the CDC-led government in the Republic of Liberia. Professor, good evening and welcome.
Thank you, Mr. So. Thanks for having me on. Good evening. And I don't just support the work of the CDC government, I support good government all over the world. Good governance,
political correctness now begin to suffer. I call you the diplomat, but by the way, I don't know why the CDC government can even tap you to be their special envoy. They don't listen to people. And you don't like for me to say this here, but I will have to say it here with my talking point here, because it's not about CDC. I see on a bigger picture about the sovereignty of our country. The nation should be able to tap into the expertise. But those guys don't listen. I don't know why.
I don't think you are correct. I do play a role. I play a very important role. I be it behind the scene, but I play some role.
What is the role? Let the cat out of the boy. Because you're trying to take me off here now this evening.
Behind the scene role. So but I do. I will tell you one thing. I think the government, respects my position, respect my views, and I do play role, from time to time.
So let me ask you, are you a special envoy accredited here? Because I will try to get this whole thing. You advise the president?
I will tell you one thing. I advised the government. I advised people in government. I'm a like.
Do you advise the executive branch of government?
So look, I've even advised the former government in Liberia, the President Johnson said government. I did do some work for them also. So I'm a person. I'm a Liberian first, and then I come to my other subsets of Liberia. But I do help whenever there's a need. And, yeah.
You are a mathematician, you are a professor. We are not going to quadratic equation here. I'll ask you a specific question. Do you advise and provide counsel to this government?
Well, you said counsel, you know what? Like I said, I do make suggestions. I'm not an advisor to the president, not am I an advisor to the government, but I do make wise counsel to the government and the officials of government.
Okay. That's who they are. They are politicians. They don't answer. They always dance around and create a structure and reconstruct questions. And okay, how is the Wednesday going so far?
The Wednesday is wonderful. Spent a lot of work today. Like you always say on the show, I own the Red Academy International Schools. For now, the Red Academy International School has 2 schools in Liberia, and so I spent the day getting several boxes. Needed materials, laptop, computers, books, playground materials, toys, other, educational supplies ready. They just picked them up. Drums, by the way, drum set. We are trying to make sure our students in Liberia, have the full package. We exposing our students to music. So we just sent 2 sets of drums and a keyboard. We are getting ready to. We want to have a full band at both of our schools coming this week. So we've been working a lot today. So I'm a little bit tired, But I was just about to go to sleep when I checked on my, and saw the message from you that we have to have a show today. I said, well, I have to be there. That's what makes you a strong person.
Yeah, and if we do not agree on anything, your commitment from time to time, the history, the record is there, even from EULA. When you contest it, it's saddening that people who doesn't know people well, and they do tend not to ask how to know somebody much better, not just on the surface or hearing circumstantial information, the person and draw conclusion. That's a little bit disturbing, but it is why it is. No one can question your giving back to the community because I was part of that process. In fact, I was one of the commissioners. And to see the very first time after your campaign, you take the leftover and turn it over, give it to the incoming administrations as a support to that. That's weird. I haven't seen that. Very suddenly that happened because they don't get a report. So that's and from there that's where that sort of I created a footprint. I put that footprint to you. Okay. So let's get a conversation going here. A lot is unfolding in Liberia here with this sort of every time the liberals say every now and then somebody got to put their foot in their mouth, and usually he calls on the CDC. Even though the opposition, they put their foot in their throat as well. So everybody does the same. But let's talk about this vessel here. Up to this time, I know investigation is ongoing, but why every other time there's something kind have to develop? This is Lane Eugene Namwait, the Maritime Commissioners. I want to give you a little bit extra because last Saturday, the deputy minister for the newly deputy appointed minister should have appeared. It was within that time it happens, and he sent that video, which is also on the official website of the Maritime page here. Let's see here if I can get it.
For this press briefing, which is in regard to an ongoing search and rescue effort of a vessel, the Nico Ivanka. The search and rescue effort is ongoing, even as we speak. Several nautical miles off the coast of Marshall City.
Okay, we're not going to wait much time here. A lot of people are saying that, but just to give them, to be fair to them, to give didn't time. But interestingly, Liberia Public Radio captured this incident, kind of did a forecast what this vessel was all about. That was last September. I was in an exclusive interview with the port manager of the city of Buchanan, and not Buchanan Harper. And that was quite interesting. And I want to play this clip here, and then we're going to have a conversation here. It seems to me somebody is aware, somebody did not do their work. That's way back September when we erased that airline. Listen to the managing director of the Port of Harper, Mr. Williams Wallace.
Or an alternative to the barrow condition that we normally face in the Southeast. As you may be aware, almost every rainy season, the Southeast is cut off from the rest of the country because of the barrow. But since the inception of this government and since we talk about the Port of Harper, yes, the Southeast have been cutting off, but we have not been lacking the major commodity that are happening in the past. And because we have the churning boat that we call Nico Ivanka that make almost a weekly trip to the Port of Harper. So despite all the barrow that we have suffered for the past 2-3 years now, the Southeast in Maryland has not been able to lack the major commodity because the vessel there provided some alternative by making sure that we have the local petroleum on our market, we have rice, we have cement, other major commodities that all we needed during rainy season. So actually they helped the port does the few days was to provide an alternative to the barrow.
So when you say provide alternative, what specifically was provided?
Yes, it was able to provide the local commodity that we need because during the barrow, no car leave from Maryland to Monrovia. So in the past, before the government took over, we see that there will be no gasoline on our market, there will be no rice, there will be no cement, and other commodity that we get from Monrovia. But since the inception of the government, since we took over the Port of Harper, with the pressure of the feeder craft vessel called Nico Ivanka, Maryland County had never shut in rice, Maryland County had never shut in petroleum product, Maryland County had never shut in cement. And even to some extent, we provided transportation means that people wanted to go to Monrovia, like students from Tubman University that are going for vacation, or the vessel were able to provide some alternative for them to go to Monrovia to and fro in the absence of the road or in the presence of the barrow condition.
Yeah, because I talked to somebody one time from Harper area there, and they said they were traveling, but they were using a vessel. We didn't go into details, but now you can be the best person to validate all of this information. What is the safety aspect of that? How many hours from Harper to Monrovia? What is the safety? Was there some sort of safety check on this vessel to make sure that residents and citizens traveling back and forth, their safety too is prioritized?
Yes, actually, the vessel that we are dealing with is not actually for passengers. It's just a cargo vessel.
Oh, it's a cargo.
Considering the situation, what we ensure was the life jacket was on board, and then it took about 2.5 days from Harper to Monrovia. And then since March, this vessel has been plying the sea, and there have been no any incident case or any incident being reported of any damage under the sea or any major problem. So for more than 2 years now, the vessel have been coming and been going. There have been no major problem. So actually, when it comes to maybe medication and other facilities that should be on a passenger vessel, they are not available on that vessel. But we're able to do these things and just to be able to help the community and in the pressure of the barrow.
No medication is available. Do you see that as a risk? What happened 2 days when somebody get ill, for example? How are they going to make it?
Yes, actually, it's a risk.
I know it's a hypothetical question, but these are things we don't want tomorrow. These things happen in as much as there to help the resident. But when it comes tomorrow now, they will say, "Oh, Mr. Waller knew this thing here," and then they were putting it. In fact, he the manager. He one time he didn't know it. So, is national government aware of that?
No, it's not actually on our official maritime permit because maritime actually prohibit people traveling on the vessel because it's not been accredited or it's not been certificated as a passenger vessel. Instead, it's a cargo vessel. But in the case of an emergency.
Okay, Professor. So right there, we get on record. That's some of the reason why most of these people will call them. They do not like to show up. And following that interview, because we have our correspondent in Harper, through him, we managed to talk to this, and even folks like he rightfully says, student travel. And don't get me wrong, people have to provide and provide, but the security, the safety aspect is very, very, very much important. And we try to make a follow up with authority at the port, at the central port that is in Monrovia to Northville. Nobody could talk to or nobody could provide any answer based on what we. So, something we talked about last September, that's 2020, the safety, the any safety, the safety of our people, the safety of our people here we are today, people, somebody did not do their work. Correct?
Yeah, correct. Look, the use of cargo ships for the movement of people within the West African region is not something strange. It's not uncommon. We have a history of doing that. I think you hear about other how Liberians left from Liberia during the Civil War. They were mostly traveling on cargo ships. Even now, I think from time to time there are cargo ships that come from Guinea that bring in passengers. I think the port manager, he's a smart young man. I think he put his foot in his mouth, and I think it's like this. He has a very good intention to mitigate.
How can he put his foot in his mouth and then he has a good intention, Professor?
But I'm saying that's what I'm saying. He has a good intention, but speaking about it the way he spoke about it is where he put his foot in his mouth. As a port manager, he should not be talking about allowing the use of a cargo ship for the movement of passengers. That shouldn't be coming to the public. He shouldn't be talking about that. Now that it came to the public, I would have thought that the Central Port Authority, the people in Monrovia, would have made some clarification, to that because
that's the thing. Because when we heard this, it was concerning because people, some of the people that we talk to, friends that have gone there, look, if they leave and reach in Monrovia, it almost take them like a day or plus to recover because 2 days, and sort of opened, you saw that. And
yeah, that's what I'm saying. So it's a problem. I mean, look, the intentions are good. And I think sometimes one of the problems we have in Liberia is the lack of monitoring mechanism, not just in the maritime sector, but all across the country. In every sector, Liberians tend to respond. They tend to react. We're not proactive. So he said that, look, it has been moving people, nothing has happened, and all those things. That's true.
It's like a tradition. 2 years now, nothing happens, so everybody go to bed.
So there's a rule that says it's not supposed to be used for that purpose. So it shouldn't be used for that purpose. Now, the second thing about it, who's monitoring that those cargo ships are not carrying passengers? Nobody's doing it. And so those are the problems. The problems come from the lack of effective monitoring mechanism. And I tell you the truth, even I'm a person working in the education sector. I'm investing in the education sector. I'm involved with the education sector. Most people like Brett don't like to be monitored. They don't like, a lot of the people don't want to follow the rules, which are necessarily safeguards. So they want to do things the way they are accustomed to doing it. And in the end, you get this kind of tragedy. And then that's the time, people begin to wonder who was supposed to do this and who was supposed to do that and who was supposed to not do this and who was not supposed to do it. That's unfortunate. But I think, this is a big indictment of not just the port manager, on everyone associated with the maritime program in Liberia. Liberian Maritime Authority is also an indictment of the National Port Authority. And also, it is also an indictment of the monitoring agency. I know the Ministry of Transport. I know they should be associated with that.
All of the auxiliaries or different organs responsible for
transportation, and safety. So they should be called to the table to explain why this has
been. They'll be called to the table. That's $1 million question.
That's the interesting thing about it. Do you know that he has a president? The WAEC, the West African Examination Council, had some of the employees on.
What's going on?
So that's what I'm saying. So it's a good intention to solve a problem, but when it wouldn't have gone on, they wouldn't have carried those things over there. Nobody in the public would have heard about it. They wouldn't have succeeded. But you got to be very careful. just because something done in the dark, people may not be able to see it, doesn't necessarily make it to be good or legitimate or legal. And so we got to be careful on how we do things. You know, and I always tell people in Liberia, you know, because government will not see it, or because somebody will not know about it, doesn't necessarily make it to be the right thing. So you always want to make sure that you're observing and following the rules. And today they got caught with their hands in the cookie jar. The sad thing about it, people lost their lives. People lost their lives. I just saw a post on Facebook where a young woman was saying that her cousin or so who works for the WAEC was on that vessel, and they haven't heard from him yet in several days. So, you know, this is sad. And this should be a wake-up call to people who are entrusted with monitoring things. And people who also in government. Look, let me just take it for Liberia. There was a case in Maryland several years ago, maybe 10 years ago, where a group of students came to a teacher and asked the teacher that they wanted to leave campus. And the teacher wanted to be a student's friend. And he said, oh yeah, you guys can go out, you know, you'll be careful, nobody should shoot you guys, and I wouldn't tell them about it. They got off the campus, they didn't even drive 2 miles away, the car somersaulted, and every one of the kids in that car got killed. So we got to be very careful for a government, for WAEC to be using a cargo ship, a cargo vessel to transport its staff and materials. It's worrisome.
So
how much illegal thing they could possibly be doing?
It happens. It's more than 72 hours now. Am I correct?
Yeah.
I listened to the chief of staff of the armed forces of Liberia. They were all calling. That's part of their duty to serve on a rescue mission. Thank God, few people have been rescued. But the bottom line, this should have even happened. Now we want to call. We will be hearing, or investigation is ongoing. What is key now? The bottom line. Will someone be held accountable? You cited a very perfect example here: the Port Authority, the Maritime, Transport, and all relevant agencies or organs responsible for this. Will we see some strong measures be taken?
You know, when you say strong measures, look, I wouldn't want to say punitive action. You know, here's the thing about it. I'll be very honest with you. I don't think anyone.
Lives are involved, Professor.
I understand lives of people.
They must be held accountable. You use the warrior indictment, and when someone is indicted, potentially there's a crime committed. Correct?
Well, listen, let me say this to you. Look, I want to look at, what, you know, whatever the case is, look, intent must be considered. I don't think it was the intention of those people who display some dereliction to see that life would have been lost in under these circumstances. I don't think so. So what I think is going to be
ignorance of a law is no excuse.
I agree with you, but here's what I would say in this kind of circumstance. I'll be more interested in what we do to prevent a recurrence of this.
Now you are getting into playing the softball here. You started off, we were on track here. You started off, the people put their foot in their mouth, the people must be indicted and all of that indicted.
The indictment of that doesn't necessarily say we should, take them to, look, here's the thing. They could even be tried. And, guilty verdicts could be brought against them for dereliction or whatever violation you want to put it in. But here's the thing. What I'm saying is that what I think we should get from this is not necessarily the punitive aspect, is the instructiveness of this calamity. How can they inform our handling and management of other sectors of our governance structure, of our economy, and the rest of it? So now we should use this as an opportunity to teach people that, look, just because this thing is not in the public domain, everybody's now
use this as a case, Professor, to use it as a case study, even though, I mean, that's another side.
Yes.
But why it is here? Here is the deal here. I don't know. I might sound a little bit ridiculous here, but if it is, just let me just throw it right in my face, and that's okay. Now, the port of Monrovia, it was where that vessel departed. Somebody. And we heard it was carrying some material, lipos and all of, so apparently from the government, so somehow, fair to mention, somebody, by this time we must be able to have some answer. Let someone take responsibility. Bakuba Jr. is down there. Now it's like John Palmer waits on John Rice. I don't know.
I don't know who's the Bakube Dream, but here's the thing. Look, there's no way the authorities of the National Port Authority will not be held responsible. They have a major part to play. They violated the trust of the Liberian people to provide the kind of monitoring that the port needed. So clearly, they have the burden on them to exonerate themselves. I don't know how will they be able to exonerate themselves. That was a dereliction. That was an incompetence. That's a clear inability to provide the kind of security that is sought to provide for ships, for the port. So there's no way you're going to clear them up. But yeah, again, I would maintain. I believe in restorative justice. I believe that in circumstances like this, even though life was lost, and let me express my sympathy to those people out there who lost their family members in this thing. I know it's a difficult time for them. I pray, if for some miracles, that those people who have not been found yet, they could be found alive. I hope that could happen. But I think again, like I said to you, this should be a learning opportunity. If I was appointing the team to investigate this situation, I will appoint a multi-agency team. And so
is that a recommendation you're making to the government?
Well, I'm just saying that, yeah. So it shouldn't just be people associated with the maritime programs should be investigating it. But I think we should bring other sectors. It should be a warning. It should be a warning, for example, to people who allow, for example, trucks to ply our highways without headlights and using flashlights from both windows. I've seen it on Ralphie Highway. I've seen it along the Kakata Banga Highway. The truck is moving along the road and there's no headlight. So you got the driver using one headlight on this side, you got the passenger using another. Okay.
We got a few things here to cover here, Professor. Will we see a full conclusion of this other incident and full report coming out to the public in a very transparent fashion? Will we see that happening?
I wouldn't want to speak to say we'll see it, but I will encourage them.
Why can't you speak to it, Professor? Why?
No, because I don't know what they're going to do, but I hope that they will do it.
What do you want them to do? What do you want them to do?
I want them to have a full-scale investigation, and I want them to make appropriate recommendations as a result of the investigation, and that those recommendations should be acted upon to protect the safety and security of the Liberian people.
And what about those? You're still not concluding. What about those who have made a careless administrative decision to even allow it to happen?
Like I said to you, Mr. So, I don't think anybody over there. Look, you gotta look at training. You gotta look at preparation. If the person doesn't have the proper training,
whose fault is it, Professor? Whose fault conducting this training?
It's also the availability of the people to do the training.
So what a minute here. So let's look what a minute. You try to create a Pandora box. You listen to the local manager port, asking a specific question, and he tried to kind of 2 years is been commuting back and forth. So,
Mr. So you listen to the manager. You understand that the manager already have challenges. Like I said, what he came out to basically say, look,
I should be held accountable for this in a strong time.
But you see, the thing about it is that whether or not he did it intentionally or it was because of his limitation that this thing happened. You got to take that into consideration. I don't think that manager
is being done. So what is the intention that the damage is being done?
But here's the thing.
You alluded that in fact they shouldn't have done that. It didn't. That vessel didn't fly from in the sky. It left from the port of Monrovia, where all due diligence in the first and foremost should have been done. And it appears 2 years been going back and forth.
Yeah.
This time it falls right before they allow.
I agree with you 100%. But what I'm saying to you is that why did he allow? Look, listen to this. You listen to the young man's interview. This young man was indicting himself, saying that he violating the laws. He allowed the laws to be violated. The vessel was not licensed to do passenger movement. It was for movement of cargo. Now here's the thing: he's allowing people to. He boasting of it being used to move students. that clearly shows that, you know, he lacks certain kind of.
I think it's a very difficult one to explain, to interpret, and to even understand. Correct, Professor?
I think it's very clear to understand. He doesn't have the training, and
difficult to explain.
It's very easy to explain. The problem here is that, you know, our country has a serious human resources challenge, and so sometimes people are placed into positions that they are not necessarily qualified to hold. And when they are performing the performance of their responsibilities, they will make these mistakes. So it just calls for training. It calls for us to revisit how we position some of these people into some of those places where they are placed in the first place. Okay. You know, we need a better.
We hope we'll wait and see. One of our prompter follow here, Yusuf, is based in the Federal Republic of Nigeria from Kano State. So please extend my greetings to the professor. Yusuf is one of our followers. Not a single day here. Okay, let's get to this other issue here. We will be following the development here. I'm wondering why GOL, the government of Liberia, is not ahead of the game. You saw the images, I believe it was that today or yesterday? Today. The National Transit Authority, formerly MTA.
Yeah.
Let's see this here, and let's see here. Well, let's see whether we can get it here, and then we can.
Well, folks, good morning. Good morning and a pleasant welcome to School TV. We are here before the office of the president, that is the foreign ministry, where this morning we woke up to the news of drivers of MTA, the National Transit Authority, that is the National Transit Authority. We woke up this morning surprised.
Okay, that's the National Transit Authority. Our understanding, courtesy of Spoon TV, providing that footage. Our understanding, the buses are running. In fact, I listened to one of the ladies who was really attacked. She wakes up, according to her story, she's up 4 o'clock in the morning, and this time she fell in the hands of bad people.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What the Liberia is saying here. And she got attacked. But here is the thing here. Mm-hmm. I don't see this thing. I don't know. Maybe I'm getting the wrong side of it here. This sort of whether people going on strike or thing, it doesn't come overnight. No. It's not a one-day event. No. It's not even a 2-day. My guess here, educated guess here, conversation takes place behind the lights or whatever, off camera, and then when it gets to the boiling point, then it spills out. So why, folks, why is the government is not doing everything? Because these are all distraction to their agenda. Why would they always allow people to demonstrate, people to jump in the street, people to express their anger, their frustration before some action is taken? What sort of public relations is that? Why they can't do everything possible they can to avoid this sort of thing, meet the leadership of these people, make some sort of settlement, make some concession, because these people, remember, they're leaving their families home and going to work. The buses are running. Mm-hmm. Not that they are packed, not that they are not movable. Mm-hmm. So they are breaking into revenue. So why these people are not being paid?
Yeah.
Why can they pay them?
It's sad. It is sad. There are too many people who are working in our government in very key and strategic places who have done nothing more than to embarrass the president. And there are many people who are working in our government in very high places who have done nothing more than engage in actions to embarrass our president and the government.
Embarrass the president, or the president embarrassing himself?
No, the president not embarrassing himself. Yes, he do. The president appointed people to run the MTA. Mm-hmm. Those who are the MTA should be able to manage their agencies. So they should be able, like you indicated, they should be able to work with the employees to prevent these kind of things from happening. Now, when people work, they must take pay. There can be no explanation, no excuse for that. Now, even so, what makes it even worse in this case? This is a money-generating agency. The transport industry, like in Liberia, is a huge income.
I don't understand.
So I don't understand why would they not be paying their employees.
Then I don't understand why the president will be keeping people. I'm coming. You were talking. I will give you the chance. You've been talking about incompetence. And I agree with you. There are some, if not all, but there are some. And it appears that those that are within the proximity of the president fund themselves. So these people, I don't see them to be a help. What sort of relationship is that? Why would you want to keep me around you when I'm no help, when I'm not doing anything to elevate, to promote your agenda, when I'm doing everything possibly to create a chaotic situation, unnecessary drama? Why should you keep me around you? Can you do that?
Yeah. No, it's I don't know. The president cannot be everywhere, but I think there are people who are responsible.
Professor.
Let me finish.
Professor. Okay, let me bring in the liberal here because he's been bossing me. Oh yeah, he's blue, he's turning red, he's all up now, pissed off here to whatever that is happening here. But oh man, your professor, I don't know where you did. He going off another place he's at. But look, let's be honest here. The president can be everywhere, that I know.
Yeah,
it's clear cut. But when people are given a assigned task,
I agree,
you will be able to complete that task with less supervision. So, what is the deal?
So here's how I'll tell you. One of the things I suggest, and I go on record, I don't care what anybody says. Look, one of the things I suggested at the very beginning, at the very inception of this government, was a performance management office be set up within the executive management.
I see why they are not calling you, because they see you to be like somebody who is very mature.
You need to stop that. Like I said, I do some behind the scene, jobs, and I like the things that I do. I like to be helpful, and I don't have to have any credit for it. I know what I do, and I'm happy with the things I do. But look, the president's office needs to set up a performance management operation, develop a performance metrics with clearly defined goals and a mechanism for monitoring the effectuation of those goals. Sometimes I hear people say they have those things already. I think those things will be made public so that when people are performing poorly, the public will know the government officials who are performing poorly. We will embarrass them, we shame them to perform well. But again, like I said, I don't understand why would people be working and not get paid, especially from an agency that makes money. This is not the only agency, Liberian Water and Sewer Corporation, which is. Let
me ask you. Let me flip the question around. Do you also understand why these administrators are in charge and they are creating chaotic situations around this president? And the president consistently continue to hire these people. So who's the blame goes on?
The president has not consistently kept those people in their position. The president, they have made a lot of firings lately. I think the president is calming down on government. Recently, two of the top leaders at Liberian Water and Sewer Corporation were suspended from their job. The president recently fired the Liberian Aviation Authority director. There's somebody at the Ministry of Lands and Mines who have been turned in for persecution. So the president is, he's told you that he was going around the country. Once he gets from this nationwide tour, we're going to sit down and begin to do some. See, the main woman talk is he testing. So he tried to interrupt me. The Liberal Progressive, you see that? So he said he was going around the country. He was going to come back and sit down and begin to do some performance evaluation. I hope that within the next few weeks and months, you'll be seeing some changes in government. You'll be seeing that people who are not performing based. I'm hoping that the president will do so. If the president doesn't do so, our president will be traveling to Monrovia to convey to the people who I can convey.
You'll be doing what? You'll be going to Monrovia?
Yeah,
it appears to me that the seditionists in Liberia try to kind of disconnect with the seditionists in the USA. But when it comes to fundraiser, I don't know why.
That's not true. That's not true.
That's true. And I don't know why you don't want. Let me be honest. Are you here to disrupt my program here this evening?
I told you.
I'm very sorry.
My computer giving so much problem as I'm playing with all kind of buttons here, but I apologize.
Okay, so so when you come on my show, it's not a toy ground to be playing with fingers to be moving all around. Okay, all
Mr.
right.
So,
the Liberal Progressive
I have already owned to that. I take responsibility. And this is what you guys do. Instead of talking about what's going on in the country now, you're gonna come on the Liberal. The Liberal have taken responsibility of whatsoever happened and has apologized. And now what do you want? You want me to take off my shirt and dance before you can speak?
That's the responsibility you took. You deliberately went on first class. You posted a picture. You came back to us as the media, and then you after we put you, then you start taking responsibility. The way you own it. You see? Yeah, you own it. So let me use your words here this evening here. This week here, people, you don't try to disprove this guy here. He always said, these people will put their foot in their mouth. These people will put their foot. Every other day, you guys put your feet and your toes in your mouth. Lebra, who abused the bad music this evening?
Mr. So, look, I feel bad for CDC and the professor, to be honest with you. I have never ran anything before, let alone a government. But if you just a day or so ago, I think it was yesterday, I was reading some history newspaper from Liberian age or something like that, long time ago during the Doe administration.
Yeah.
The behavior in us as Liberian, I'm not too sure if it is just ingrained in us or what it is. These people that we're talking about tonight, these same group, highly educated, you bring them from Liberia and bring them over here and ask them to manage a company. If the company is to make money, they will make money. They will pay their employees on time with no hesitation. These same people, if you take them and say, go run a bank, they will not take a dime. But when they get to Liberia, everything happens. I'm really confused. I feel bad for them. Now, why will you work run an entity and the people are not getting paid? This is not just Dr. Weah government. This been happening back in the 70s when I was working at the Ministry of Education. Sometimes we don't get paid 4 or 5 months. Why is it? Why will you even employ me when you know I'm not going to get a job? I mean, I'm not going to get paid. Why do that to our people? And then this day and age, at this time, where you have the chairman of CDC traveling all over the place, having meeting with sedition all over, but people back who are not getting paid.
Yeah, but he's not.
I know it has nothing to do with it, but the people that the president, you can't blame everything on Dr. Weah. Yeah, you can say, well, why don't you just go ahead and fire the people? Yes, it's easy to say you want to fire somebody. But Dr. Weah himself is very much experienced with the kind of hard life in Liberia. To take fire somebody from a job, it's not something that we take lightly. So you're not just going to wrap it around the president's neck. These people that ask for the job and they give you the job, you have to perform. If you cannot perform, do us a favor and say, look, I can't do this, and get out. But these people are putting the president in some sort of a big issue here. But anyhow, I love it because come 2023 we will use this team program and dislodge them because they are unable to govern. But we do not expect the president to be president of the Republic of Liberia, to be minister of education, to be a director of NSA, to be how many jobs can he do? He alone, he can't do all of them. You're gonna have to protect the president. And this sedition, they don't have the ability to protect the president. They continue to embarrass the president. This is ridiculous. And I don't know exactly, but I love it as an opposition. I love it. Even though we're not succeeding, Liberia is not succeeding, but I love it. And I bet you, by next Wednesday, Mr. So, there will be another issue. CDC will put their foot in their mouth again. I always predicted, and I'm coming on through.
But I think you're confusing two issues, Mr. Libra Progressive. There's a difference between the government and the CDC. I think you're referring to the CDC government.
No, I said CDC because who brought in the government? It was sedition.
All right, but here's the thing. But here's one thing. I agree with you definitely, and you just spoke exactly. Mr. So will tell you that just what you said was just what I was saying. But also, but the only concern I have is that look, if it was Ellen Johnson, Sirleaf government, or any other president, I'm concerned when Liberia is failing. So let's forget about the election part. I mean, I think now when we lose the number of people that we lost just recently to this cargo ship vessel accident, it's concerning. When people are not able to feed their families because they're not getting their pay, it's concerning. So it's more than an electoral or election thing. It's more than political. It's serious. But look,
I understand. I understand, Professor, and I do agree with you. But as an opposition, I not that I'm enjoying it, but I'd like for the government to succeed. But how many times we're going to put our knees down and pray for this government, for the government to succeed, and they continue to blow up the whatever opportunity they have. The president, I feel bad for Dr. Weir, but of course he would not listen to us anyway. But I feel bad for him because here's the man, Professor. Those of you that know him, you know he's a very kind heart. Of course, he's very stubborn. That's for sure. I believe in that, and I also believe that he's very vindictive. I can see that. However, he has a kind heart towards fellow human beings. He wants to help. Well, he brings people on board, hoping that they will move the ball around, and they're not doing nothing. These people need to be on the bench. Put them on the bench, bring the substitute in, and if the sub is not working, then we say, okay, he tried. But you cannot continue to play the same people, and the people keep scoring on. Right now, CDC government is 13-0. So Liberians are winning. 13-0. CDC producing nothing. So, in that kind of sense, as an opposition, 2023, I will have you on my show after you guys have been defeated resoundingly and vehemently, so driven out of power.
Here is the thing.
I will have a conversation with you.
Is the thing here. This guy, he confessed, and I'm about to expose him now. The liberal progressive, even what CDC is doing, don't get nervous, because if you deny, I'm going to play the recording right now.
Mr. So, do you see that face, guy? It ain't seen face.
Here's the thing here. The CDCU, the CPPU, this ALPU, all of it, these people are the same old thing. When you give these people authority now, my prediction, they will be terrible. They will be.
Let me be the first to say.
Hold on. Yeah. Okay. You want to say it?
Yes.
Okay.
You and I have that discussion before, and I guess that you're getting ready now to bring me out in public. So let me run ahead of you, please, if you don't mind. Look, to be honest and to be serious, right now, if Dr. Weir said, I no longer want to be president, and the VP takes over, the corruption continues. Yeah. If the VP and CDC-led government is defeated 2023, all of us that are pushing Dr. Bakai and Mr. Collins to take over, the corruption continues. Nothing in our DNA that I can see at this time to say that these things going to be fixed. Look at the kind of issue from the Senate, the letter that they sent to the president. They're trying to say, no, the other economic situation in one side. We're not ready to discuss it yet. And there's other issue. Instead of them to come out and try to put fear into these young people, they're trying to say, if you do something 5 years ago, they're not going to come after you according to the Constitution. And what do? They take the responsibility they can and kick it down to the president's door. Now they want the president to make the hard decision. We're going nowhere until the young people that are here in the diaspora, the young sophisticated Liberians that are here in the diaspora, those that continue to go around and preach about Liberian future, those are the people that we're counting on. But for me and for any other person, if we take over, I'm not saying I'm going to go steal or do corrupt, but if I get there and somebody that I know stealing, you and the people, you steal that your business. If I don't like the stealing, I will run away and come back here. Mr. So, it's terrible on us, and we're going to suffer.
But let me come in. I think you said a lot, and I agree with you to a large extent. Look, our system is challenged. because of so many reasons. One, the way we are raised, the way we are taught, the way we engage each other in society. And I always say it this way, you know, when a market woman takes the cup she is supposed to be selling rice in and beat the bottom, so she'll be able to put less rice to sell it for the approved price and make extra profit. That's concerning. That's an issue of corruption. Her child is watching her do it. When a teacher goes to school and engages in sexual activity with a young girl to give her a grade, or takes money from students to give them a grade, the students are seeing it. When they grow up and they enter into government, they will be corrupt. They will think that they can sell government, you know, services for whatever money for their personal benefits. So these are all things that we need to begin to think about and how we can address in society. I agree that movements, I won't say that the movement of Liberian youth in America should be the one that should control, that will be able to change Liberia. But I think we should begin to start building this movement. That's one of the reasons why I'm into education. Beginning to start raising this movement from the grassroots. This new mindset in our country, exposing this kind of behavior that even amongst us men, that if we have extra marital relationships and all those things, that's immorality. A man who has an extra marital relationship and you're making a government official will be corrupt the same way because he's doing it in his marriage. So all those things got to start working in our society. You know,
that woman business part, I don't think you will find president or vice president.
So, Professor, let me put this here, and I don't know whether they are coming back. It's a reconciliation. I don't know. I try to kind of try to figure out what this picture really to represent, and then we're going to be opening the lines here soon. We saw the demonstrations in your own area, Kakatat, at the hospital. But let me see this picture here. This picture here. Do you recognize that guy?
Yeah, Chairman Molu.
Chairman who?
Molu.
Molu. Yeah. Okay. All right. You see, is that him or the Liberal?
Yeah, and it's laughable.
So, what is he doing there?
I don't know.
Is there you don't know? Have you had a chance to
according to the story, he put his knee down, Ice King, former sedition that left to come back to CDC, and he's pleading with them, begging pretty much for CDC, former member of CDC, to see reason to come. And I feel for him, because I think Mama showed it last time I said something, I will say here again. Chairman Molu, even if you don't like it, the way he behaves, from the time he came up some time ago, years ago, that he said he met with Barack Obama and other, and they find out that was not true, people, his credibility. But one thing he never shied about is to make sure that Dr. Weah become president of the Republic of Liberia. Mr. So, when I went home during the inaugural program, every time you go by CDC headquarters, the place is packed. So one day I decided to go down there, and the place was packed, Mr. So. And this is what this young man used to do. He used to bring people, young people, in CDC headquarters and convince those young people. Whenever you hear CDC say, oh, when Monuba print, say something, say, y'all print, we're going to want t-shirt, print out. Seditian themselves, poor sedition, people who don't have money, they will go and buy their own t-shirt and print it out and then wear it to come to the yard. That's how much control Monuba had on the.
Does he still have that?
When he came to power, no, not anymore. Because when he came to power, they tried to kick him out. Why were he not? This is the man that brought Dr. Weah in. You would think he would be a very close advisor, a very inside soul.
Hold on. You see, you sound so ridiculous at times here. Why would you even want to have him as a close advisor? This is the guy who was telling the very government that only sedition should be higher. So what are you talking about?
I don't care. I mean the kinds of work that he has done. Look, Mr. So, when you're bringing somebody closer to you to be an advisor, someone who
I don't even want to go there because you've been very dishonest here.
I mean, I don't care what you call it. I want Moluba Molu to get close to Dr. Weah and be closer than where he is right now.
Let me talk to the Sidisha here.
Mr. So, hold on 1 minute. You can't interrupt me when I'm talking about Chairman Moluba Molu. Please. The next person, sadly, Mula Peno was another one that could have been closer to Dr. Weah and things would have been straightened. All of these people that are around Dr. Weah right now, they're there to fill their own pocket. They don't care about Dr. Weah because people like Moluba Molu and Mula Peno were using Dr. Weah's popularity to give for Liberia and Dr. Weah to give. These people are not using his popularity in favor of Liberia. They're using his popularity for themselves. This is the greed. The business of greed in Liberia is right there.
But let me come in. Look, Chairman Molu is a wonderful guy, a man who held the position of deputy chair for operations for so many years, and he won the hearts and minds of so many Liberians, even those who are outside of the CDC. Nobody can take that away from him. Our constitution, our bylaws call for a clear distinction between party and government. Chairman Molu could not be an advisor appointed by the president to serve as an advisor.
The opposition, when they take position, I told you there will be worse. That's why he was going to be.
Molu could not be appointed
right now.
President. Because
Professor,
yeah.
What position was Nathaniel Makelo was holding in CDC?
But I want to explain to you, once the elections were held and Dr. Weah won the presidency, Nathaniel Makelo had to relinquish his position as chairman of the CDC, and that's how Chairman Molu was.
But why Chairman Molu could not have relinquished his position as deputy and be pushed up to be very close to the president? This is the man.
No,
I don't care what you guys say. What I'm corrupt on that is not the point. This is the guy who fought hard. Because he trusted.
He's comfortable in his position. He's comfortable in his position. He never told you.
But that's why we have what we have. That's why we have the little talk. If you are comfortable,
now you're turning the point.
Will come out and make those kinds of statements.
Oh my goodness!
The reason why
I'm saying because he's not close to the president, you're disrupting the president. Why you said those things?
You've come here, spoken very, very, amarily about Chairman Molu, which I appreciate, and I'm sure you know him. But I also convey to him that you got the Liberal Progressive is
on the Liberty Party.
Yeah, of the Liberty Party has some very nice words for you. But here's what I would say. Look, Chairman Molu is comfortable in his position. What Chairman Molu said on our tip, allegedly said on our tip, Chairman Molu already dismissed it as as a talk that sometimes people will get from time to time that it didn't make any sense to him.
Oh my goodness!
He regretted, he regretted it. And you know what,
Professor? Professor, please don't beat around the bush.
Anyway, I understand why you guys.
Chairman
Molu, we had a lack of talk conversation. Yes, we can get a lack of talk.
Chairman Molu told you. Here's the thing. I believe in what people tell me.
So yeah, what I want to talk. Yeah, what I want to talk.
And I accept it as that.
Okay, that was irresponsible for a party chairman to sit and talk all of those things, and you still even keeping that. That's part of the ill advice and inability to take decisive decision when one of your own on here. And you had a liberal here talking. When Moluba was talking on the sedition, he was crying, baby cry all over the place, acting like a little chihuahua here. He coming back here to tell us that Moluba, he not even close. He close to the president. You know what I mean? Party chairperson, ruling party. He has a very immense power to drive the agenda of the government. What are you talking about here? What I want to talk to.
Very close to the president.
Yeah, what I want to talk about. I don't know what are the authenticity aspect kneeling down there telling seditions to call back. Is it just a pictorial stuff that they are doing, or are they willing to have a conversation? Or is the president himself willing to have that conversation to let go? Because I can tell you, because I saw the post written by Vanny Saki, who these are some hardcore seditions you have asked.
Sedition.
Okay, all right, whatever you are never. You see, this is a stigma here. People never started a liberation, or they never started.
You get it wrong. Vanny Saki a member of the coalition. He's not a member of the Congress for Democratic Change.
But did he join the Congress for Democratic Change?
Join the coalition for Democratic Change.
Was he accepted?
He was accepted as a
He
member.
was an almost executive member here, correct?
He
Okay,
came
now
from LPDP, not from the CDP.
I see where we're going.
So are you because of that you're trying to discard his
No, I'm not.
somehow
So,
diminish his statement?
so are you saying the kneeling where he kneeled, said this guy, he kneeled down there and telling seditions to return to come in? Is he not part of that process? Or what I want to ask you, are they willing to really call you have Vatoka, you have Zakama, and other people? There are a lot of you guys who have made immense sacrifice, who have been to very good help to this government. And the people in Liberia are not giving you guys a chance, and you're unwilling to tell these things here for whatever reason.
That's not true. Let me correct you. Let me provide some information here. Let me provide some instruction here for the public. One, good. In February of 2020, the CDC was supposed to converge in Monrovia and hold a National Reconciliation Convention. The chairman of that National Reconciliation Convention was former chairman of the CDC USA, Isaac Batupa. He was appointed by Chairman Molu. The secretary for that commission was your humble servant here speaking. We went to Monrovia, and Chairman Molu received the delegation from CDC USA, CDC Canada, CDC Australia, CDC Diaspora. He received them very well. And though the program had to be canceled because of some prevailing unfavorable circumstances in Liberia, we were able to have the kind of discussion that was able to bridge the CDC Liberia with the different CDC diaspora organizations. So there's no tension existing between the different CDC's auxiliaries.
It is there. It's even ongoing in the
Mr. So
as well.
There's no tension.
That is not
So
Let me finish.
Why I don't want to address you? Why?
Let me finish. People join political parties based on a fundamental belief. What is happening within the CDC USA, for example, are procedural disagreements, which is normal for the furtherance of the goals and objectives of political institutions. In the absence of those procedural disagreements, you have what you might call a dictatorship or autocracy. One person making a decision, everybody has to go by it. So I think CDC is one of the most democratic organizations that ever existed on the whole surface around. On the whole surface,
Russian taking over.
we engage in frank, candid discussions, and we have these disagreements. At the end of the day, we forge a common ground, and we go together to achieve our goal. There were procedural disagreements within the CDC USA. Chairman Molu, as a global chairman, is here, and he has been able to make tremendous headways in mitigating the differences that we have had. And so people are coming.
You attended the rally the other day, the meeting?
I did not go to the meeting. Which rally are you talking about?
What about I don't know.
Philadelphia.
The
induction ceremony in Philadelphia. I should have gone there, but based on family obligation, I was not able to go there.
Will you be meeting Chairman Molu on his trip here?
Definitely. I will be meeting Chairman Molu as soon as I finish this call.
Mr. So, you asked a question earlier. I said, what are these people who are sincere? And I can tell you here very frankly, they are not sincere. From Dr. to Chairman Molu, they are not sincere in order for them to bring back seditions who are left. If they're serious,
let's see as soon as period are you going to
Professor, they are not sincere. They don't have it in them. Sincerity is not part of their DNA. They are not sincere. Now, Mr. So, if they're really serious, they would have gone back and bring George Solo. That's the first place you're going to start. You know, when Barbara's son, what's his name? When he came back, President, we have made a nasty statement about that young man. And it was so degrading. It was so publicly. He made that statement. And there's a video for that. It was so degrading. People, they left us. And we're here now. They want to come back. Well, we're just going to have to let them come in and let us don't say anything. Let them just come slide while it's that kind of real West Point type of degrading people. And that's how they addressed, what's his name? Bala. Now, if they're serious about bringing sedition, Back on board, and I'm not a sedition, so people say, but you're not sedition. But I don't care. I'll speak about it. Let them start with Joy Solo. These are people that work so hard to get CDC. When CDC was being trenched, when they were being cheated, every election in Liberia, Joy Solo was there with them. And because of some unfortunate circumstances, they decided to get rid of him. And then they let him go for good. If they're serious to bring people back together, they start with George Solo. If they don't start with George Solo, in my book, they are not sincere. They are vindictive. They always want to make sure when you do anything, they have no spirit of forgiving it anyway. Why you gonna need that? You're not fooling us.
Mr. Solo,
need that for nobody.
Mr. Solo,
so you kneel down.
Let me make a few corrections here, Mr. Solo. One, Victor Barney. Look, let me correct myself. Maybe Barney Saki was a member of CDC. He was a founding member of CDC, but for sure he left the CDC and he was a member of LPDP. And when he came back and he became vice chair for the CDC or the coalition, he didn't come back as a member of Congress. He was a member of. He came as a member of the LPDP. So let me correct that. Maybe he was there at the beginning. Yeah, I wasn't a founding member.
Hold on 1 second. I'll be coming to you.
On the CDC in 2012. So let me correct that. So maybe when I said that he was never a member, let me.
It really doesn't matter, Professor. You only have 2.5, 3 years the most.
I just want to correct that. Look, let me say this to you, Mr. Tool. Look, I agree with you that look, we should be working towards bringing people in like George Solo, and not only George Solo, to the many other people who left the party, who felt they were disenfranchised, who felt disgruntled and left the party. I think we should be working towards bringing them. But I think what Chairman Molu is doing, he's taking the first steps in the direction of achieving some of those things. You know, Rome was not built in one day. So some of these things will not just be all accomplished in one swoop. It will take more than one swoop to do them. And I think we're beginning the process. Chairman Molu is here to cement the relationship between CDC Global and CDC USA. And then maybe he began to engage other members who are within the United States who are no longer affiliated with the party to see how he can bring them. I don't know, I'm sure Jeff might not want to say, but I think the last time when Mayor Koji was here, he met up with some people who have left the party with the hope of at least addressing some of the concerns and getting them back in. So there are a lot of activities behind the scene that if you're not a member, you might not know, but there are a lot of efforts being made to at least bring back the forces together so that we can have common ground.
All right.
We'll bring Joy Solo back. I will join CDC.
Let me go to the line here quickly here, and we'll put a number there to also engage our viewers as we usually. On the line is a high call bond, Bella Button, Sedition, Christopher Lotte Tobasi. Christopher, are you there?
Yeah, Mr. Su, I'm here. Thank you for the opportunity.
Good evening.
You know, Mr. Su, I'm planning to meet with the chairman if the time if we set up a time. You know, in CDC we gotta look at it like this, right? We all have different reason we join the party. Maybe because I believe in pro-choice, or maybe because I believe in we need different ideology, different reasons.
So why you
have opposing view on a specific topic or issue? Or citizen gets so angry and they try to say, "Oh Lord, they gotta go like it's an opposition now." You know, I'm not going to change. Whether tomorrow the president gets a job or whether tomorrow nobody wants, I will still be the same. All right. My problem here is on Wasu. I expect. Look, there's a problem within the party. We can see it from a distance. The chairman should be the one to vet people and recommend people for employment. We are not seeing that.
So who is doing that right now?
We are not seeing Chairman Molu function in that area. All right? Until we can see that happen, we will still be speaking on it every day when we come here. We want to see Chairman Molu vetting people and recommending people for employment. It should not be the other way around. Somebody else should not be doing that job. We want to see the president, Chairman Molu, at least sitting down one-on-one in the office, just two of them talking man to man. Let's see some of these things. They will not act like there's no problem. All right, but I'm willing to meet with Chairman Molu. I'm going to speak to him. I've been calling for us to reconcile CDC USA and CDC Liberia. Why in the world are all of our past chairmen and none of them working? None of them even get.
I mean, that's a valid point. It doesn't make sense. What is that?
I mean, what is that?
I would never like to be a donkey. Nobody gonna ride my bike.
It's a contact sport. Yesterday, I was angry at you. I said some things. Forgive me. Sit down. Let it go. We come on board and we all come. Together again, so we can go and win this thing.
Okay. Thank you so much.
This person is my lifetime enemy. No, there's no lifetime enemy in politics. There's nothing such a lifetime enemy. If we're going to practice this thing, we got to practice it professionally. We got to do it in a professional manner. All right. They talk about political science. Then all the things teaching them, they don't want to practice it. They don't want to do it. You don't have lifetime enemy in politics. If I can work with you from the other side, I should sit down with you and we should work in the interest of Liberia.
Okay. All right, Chris. Thank you. So, I will also send my appeal to our own contributor here, Professor, who is a high cost edition. You too, you're another die-house edition. Hopefully, we can extend our message for us to have Chairman Malu here. We would really love to do that. Please do that, and believe me, you will be the best. They will talk to you for the main your own way. Yeah, you want.
But before he does that, let me tell why he joined the CDC now. Is it for what?
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, all right. Look, gentlemen, I mean, it is what it is, and I don't want to be a donkey for somebody to ride me. I can't ride somebody. That's what the ruling party is doing, and they are not even realizing they know it, and few people think they should be the only person. That is just wrong. We have to say it. I come in, and I know when I say this thing here, sometimes like I'm not saying it, but it's not just about you. It's not about CDC. It's about my country because I want the best to be. Why would people like you? Why would Ato Zakama? What so much politics is a back and give and take? Why is like what Christopher Tobasi said? He's a die-hard edition. Someone who chairs the party 2 consecutive times as a Vatoka. What is the big deal that people have just built a wall of Jericho and you expect these people? You think I want to work for you for a lifetime? Who doesn't want to work? And that's what I disagree with. All these people call themselves advocates, are doing this for the Liberian people. They're not doing no damn thing for Liberian people. They're doing it for themselves for political purposes. If you say that, then you're just being dishonest. If you work for something, you must be rewarded. Everybody should be able, once you are competent, to work for your country. Why, when it comes to money, they will run to your ear, you give them money, but when it comes to job, people here, they come for a job. Who? So it's like they're taking the seditions in the USA or outside of Liberia as donkey. And you guys are professional people. We need you. The country need you people to work. So why you can tell these people and you want to be like kind of cheating? Let me go to Dwalo here quickly, and then I will come back to you.
You are prophesying for the.
Hello? Dwalo, are you there?
Yes, sir. I told Mr. So everything, sir.
Yeah, Arlen, are you talking membership with the ruling establishment today? Professor, got you over? We want to welcome Chairman Ben Savvy of the our sister network TV to Ispon. Chairman Savvy to welcome. So you got a membership today, finally?
You know what, Ron? So let me make my point because the possibility of that is until health freezes over. But let me just say this. I love the professor and I met him in another way, so I understand the man. But I'm going to speak directly to the professor tonight. All joke aside, we're talking about Liberia. The presidency controls almost everything in the country. When his lieutenants are incompetent, when his lieutenants are not doing the right thing, the onus falls on the shoulders of the president. He allows this, the incompetence, the thievery, the corruption in the country. Everything is being allowed by the president because, look, the president has a daily briefing, a cabinet briefing. They brief him on the daily basis. I don't know how frequently he reads, whether he reads some of these briefs, but the president is entirely responsible for what's happening in the country. Whether you want, I know even the professors I would have their completed day for President Weah. He is their God. And I understand he's infallible. He makes no mistakes. He's supposed to be glorified. But the danger we are playing with is Liberia is being consequenced because President Weah has refused to leave. This is a serious and dangerous thing to the rest of the country. I want to make that point. The onus falls on the shoulder of the leader. The leader is responsible because he or she allows what's happening to go unchecked. It is his responsibility, Professor. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. Okay, the professor, I'm not sure what I'm going to go with you. Okay, so, gentlemen,
you will come with me.
It's both-sided. We have what is happening now is no exception. It's going to happen within the opposition because it's like a tradition. All right, so I don't know if we're to give them the opportunity today, they're going to be a chaotic situation. We're seeing it already playing out. Go ahead, Professor.
No, but I thought you're being prophetic to the Liberal Progressive because you said maybe when if for any reason Liberty Party, wins, maybe that's how they're going to treat him. But the good thing about the Liberal Progressive and people like us is that we don't necessarily need Liberia to be able to impact on society in a very positive way. I never joined the CDC with the hope of getting or landing a cabinet position or any kind of position whatsoever. But I do agree with you and many other people who've said that, look, when a party rises to power, then you want to consider some of the, the best and brightest people around you, to be able to come and implement the party's agenda. Tobasi is right. I know he has been a very, strong voice in that direction, calling for the president and, to appoint more citizens to critical positions. Look, and, I hope, the president is going to, listen. And I agree with also Dualu to the extent that, look, at the end of the day, even though the president cannot be everywhere, but he will be held responsible.
Professor, that is inexcusable. He can be everywhere. The nation rest. He is the commander-in-chief of the armed forces of Liberia. When you have a port manager who is not doing it well, when you have a public works minister, for example, or any other official who is not doing it well, you have the authority to take a decision.
But then you see, you treating me like we can treat the Liberal Progressive. Sometimes you don't get a chance to finish. You didn't let me finish. All I was saying is that I agree with Dualu that at the end of the day, the president will be responsible.
I love the one.
So the president got to step up. In that direction, I agree 100%. The president got to step up. I will hope, the president will be able to act swiftly in some of these circumstances, to bring some more credibility to his government.
Does he listen, the president?
Well, the man got ear, then how you say he can listen?
It's not a matter having the ear and people talking and passing through in transit is different. Process what is coming and to take a decision. That's
the president listens. Like the Liberal Progressive said, the president is a person who's a kind-hearted person, and I think sometimes that interferes with with how he makes decisions. I would love to see him change in that direction. I love to see changes in the president in that direction. Look, I believe by now, 60 to 70% of those people who are holding top governmental positions should have been replaced. I believe that. It's not that I have anything against them or that if they are removed, you come and call me and say I want to take it. No, not necessarily so. But we just
what I'm saying here, I'm not talking about. I'm talking about my country. That's my ultimate goal here. And when even the opposition takes in, that's why we need to tap into the people that have the expertise. What are these people you have some disagreement in the past on a personal level or whatever level it is? Because it's just not only harm to they are the government, it's a harm to us. If you have professional, qualified, competent people who can complete tasks with less supervision, who will be able to lead, who will be able to, with respect to look in the eyes of the president, Mr. President, yes, even though we're in a cabinet meeting today, but this is not a right thing. I decided to call you. I decided to come over for us to have this conversation instead of having it up there in the public because camera and stuff. Those are the kind of people that we have, but we have a lot of sycophants and people have, like Liberal is right, they have barricaded this president. He's in our bubble now, and they have been so successful. They have built that wall. You can't get to the president without these people consent.
And you know what,
Mr. Shaw, let me come here 1 minute. Look, let's be serious here for a moment. This government and this president, for me, is a little bit confusing the way they're going about it. Now, yeah, perhaps you can say Dr. Weir have never ran any kinds of institution before where he was the head of that. But let's look at it on a very serious note. Dr. Weir used to play soccer and to play football, especially in his position, to be a striker. The technical know-how of the ball movement, even before it comes to you, you have to be in position. I had an opportunity, fortunately for me, I had an opportunity some years ago. There's a guy, he's in New York now, called Anthony Gray, lives here in Sacramento, very close to him. He and I were close, and we used to have conversation about soccer. Gray told me, I asked him, I said, you were playing football, you were playing basketball, and yet still you were doing good in school. How did you do that? He told me one thing, he said, Samson, in order for me to be strong, I used to take log in the evening, big log, put on my shoulder, and run up and down the stadium, down the steps, just to be in strong position. And Mama Musa told me the same thing. In order for you to be in those positions, if you watch Agre play those days, when the ball comes, he step on that ball, he's not going to look at it again until the ball leaves his feet, because he's looking around who's open and who's getting into position. This is the knowledge, the technical knowledge that Dr. Weir has. When Dr. Weir played football, and there's a video out there for him, and seeing him with what's his name, Ronaldo, that before the ball gets to that position, Dr. Weir would have already known that he would be there.
What I can tell you,
please.
We're not on the football field right now.
I don't care. I don't care. Unless you want to shut me up, cut my mic off if you want to. I'm very serious here tonight. So Dr. Weir has the capability. He knows exactly when he was playing football. It's the technical know-how. So when you come to this position, the people that are around you, the people you appoint, these are supporting staff, even though they're not moving the ball, but it's a same logic. And Dr. Weir is not a stranger to it. Why were you, when he was managing Lone Star, if people were not playing well, he would put them on the bench. No question asked. It's the same situation here, even though it's not football. But this is much more at a higher level. And he has that ability to understand who is working and who is not working. But if you follow, this is my friend, and I love him, you're going to go down. We will be defeated, all of us. So the idea of me using that analogy about able to play soccer, Dr. Weir has the mental capacity, strong-minded person, and he did well overseas when he was playing in Italy. That was speaking crew. So in other words, he was very smart and ready to do this. This is the same kinds of stuff we're asking him to do.
Is he doing it now?
No, he's doing well. He's doing very well.
No. Professor, let's be serious. Let's take what is happening now with this government and put the same thing to the time when Dr. Weir was playing Italy. You think the kinds of thing that is happening with this government right now, if you were to transfer that on the football field, you think Dr. Weir will be able to score?
What is your standing?
He's doing well.
What is your standing? There's something to me here. Which lane you really for?
See this. Look, Dr. Weir, the government of Dr. Weir is challenged. We've had we've made some enforced errors. The government has made some enforced errors, but the government has accomplished far beyond what is given credit for within the opposition circle, which is not surprising. There were some very key things that drove some of us to the CDC. One of the main things that were attached to any political party was the issue of free education, which I'm fully committed to. I don't believe that any child in any country in the world should be paying a penny to go to school. I don't believe in that. I believe that's a government's responsibility to do it. And you know what? Dr. Weir did something. I'm a second-generation teacher. My dad was a teacher. He came up from teaching elementary school, just like I did, teaching junior high school, high school. And he became one of the ministers of the Ministry of Education, one of the assistant ministers of the Ministry of Education. So one of the things that I learned always from my dad and his colleagues, like Dr. George Isengbe Bole, Mr. Otello Gonga, and the rest of the people, was that it was impossible for government to be able to do some of the things that this government, Dr. Weir, is doing. That is providing access to education. for a vast majority of Liberian children. That's a major accomplishment of this government. That's something that many parents look up to. He has happened. So he has made some accomplishment. In so many other areas, he has accomplished things. But I'll tell you also that there have been some challenges this government has faced that was not subjective.
Why you can call boldly when you're talking about accomplishment, the context in which you speak it is plain, is simple. We get that language here. Yeah. When it's not doing it, why you try to modify it?
That's what I'm saying to you. There have been some circumstances that have
you cannot trying to restructure, reconstruct here the failure.
Circumstances that borrowed this government for performing the way we expected it. For example, you take into consideration the coronavirus issue. This is something that this government never expected when it took over. It has affected.
They didn't know.
Secondly, they didn't know when they were coming to play that they were going to happen. The second thing about it was that this government,
here we go. I just told you guys, and he's going to come out to tell us that the government was not. They didn't know that the coronavirus. Of course, they didn't.
Okay, guys.
Let's go back on the football field. If you put Dr. Weir when he was playing, does he know exactly who's going to have the ball and what have you? No. It happened exactly what the next thing going to happen. Who's going to send the ball? Where to be?
I'm Isaac Zawalo. I am an instructor here at the Arlington Career Center. I'm an instructor of mathematics. Mostly I teach the dual enrollment math classes for the Arlington Career Center. I've been here in Arlington for about 16 years. I originally come from Liberia, a small country on the west coast of Africa. It was established by free slaves from the United States. In Liberia, I'm involved with a series of educational projects. I own 2 schools, an elementary school in the capital city, Monrovia, and a secondary school about 40 kilometers outside of Monrovia in a little town where I grew up called Kakata. Well, the secondary school is called Giddings Polytechnic Academy. It's located about 40 kilometers outside of Monrovia.
Now, what makes Giddings Polytechnic Academy to be the best school is that at the Giddings Polytechnic Academy, we are introduced to electives such as drafting, nursing, business, journalism and creative writing, and agriculture. That's not all. We are also having a free access to the internet, and we are also introduced to ICT, that is the information communication technology.
The school is changing lives. Our parents are coming to the school and they are telling us, one, our teachers are consistently in class. Our students, the school is fenced, so our students remain on campus for the most of the day. The level of instruction, I've been told, is at the highest possible level for Liberia. In fact, it is projected that our enrollment will increase from 230 to about 500 for the next academic year. We are seeking help when it comes to technology, as I indicated. Any kind of resources that will help students to do better, textbooks, use textbooks, anything that will help ease the situation of our students. Anything will be appreciated. No, I look forward to seeing a relationship being built between the school in Liberia and our community here in Arlington. I consider Arlington my second home, and so I would want to see my 2 homes connecting.
This is why it can get me upset, and when I'm talking, then sometimes you're not happy because you yourself can say it. This is the guy who is doing extraordinary work, who is a member of the ruling establishment, who left here at his own volition to go mentor teachers to prepare our students and they did extraordinary job in the WIAC. And you have few handful of people who thinks they are the rightful owner of this president and black rest of the potential people that could be a good asset to our country, not just only the party. I want the government. Because when the government does good, it will call attention. You know how many phone calls that I get with this 126, my 26, I said, okay, don't take back, because when you take back, it will be washed away. We are forced. You are forced. Something is forced. And everyone else watching on this live view, we are forced because certain thing is not being done. And few people think they own Liberia and they're doing whatever they're supposed to be doing. And your president and our president is not taking decision. These are the things that are getting us upset. So this is not an entertainment. It's not an amusement. Why is this man? I strongly believe, and you can disagree with me, Moluba Molu cannot make peace among seditions. The only person that can come out who would take the bull by the horn, if he's ready to reconcile sedition, it would be the president. Do you agree with me on that, Professor?
I think the president would do a lot to help with the reconciliation process in the CDC.
What?
I think the president would do a lot.
But that's what I'm saying. He can. Moluba Molu can't do it.
No, I'm not saying
he can take. No, I'm saying it's not your word. They can quote me. He can tour the 50, whatever stays here and go over here. If the president can call his fellow seditions or competent Liberian, because I don't even trust Moluba, because this is a guy who said only sedition should be given joy. You have something to the liberal here, came here saying he should be advisor, and then he turned around again to say, oh no, he this and that. So what is it? But let me go to this line here quickly, and I will come back to you guys here. Caller, are you there? 609-2492. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, what's your name and where you calling from?
I'm Abraham. I'm calling from New Jersey.
Okay, welcome from the Garden City. I guess you've been following the conversation here. Where are we going wrong?
Yeah, I just want to say thank you to the professor there. I got a few things to talk about on his status. I know that he citizen, and most of the citizens, they don't like to say anything bad about their party, whether they are doing wrong. They will say the good thing about that. And I know he's fighting because he has his business down in Liberia, so he will say everything good about this. And one of the things is that this government is not government to bring people together. Even the president himself, he's supposed to be the role model for everybody. But like other people that were with him when they were playing on the Lone Star thing, right now most of them are suffering in malaria there, and he can't bring them together. I think he's supposed to bring everybody together because he is the father, but he can't. So I don't see how he's going to bring Liberians together. Even the Moluba Molu right now, he and the president, they are not friendly because of that thing that pop up. So I mean, the
lack of road tip.
And even this guy.
Okay, let's make it quick. That we're running out of time.
Yeah. James Alisa Diva and other guys are in that place. All of them supposed to come together. He's supposed to put all the guys together for them to work together, but he can't. So I don't think he is unified.
Okay, thank you so much. And look, this is not the only Dr. Weah. Believe me, the opposition comes, it will be the same thing because they don't even have control over their people right now. Anybody get and say anything and talk anything, and it goes free. Their leaders are unable to call them out as it should be. It is a clear indication. Those are indicators. They're told that when they get there tomorrow, they're going to be the same thing. It's just amazing to see some of my young friends like local dentists to still be pushing boycott, and they expect us to have a new direction, new Liberia. It's I don't see it possible. There are young people that they should be the one now to start taking charge. Someone who does not even have the strength. What they are simply telling me, they want this guy to be the president. So at the end of the day, whatever his situation where he is incapacitated, then they begin to remote him to also squander and rule our country. That's why it is. That was something told them when he comes here, he talk about boycott. They are not looking for the new face of their party, but they are not bringing on new generation in their party. They want to stick it. At the end of the day, God forbid anything happen, then the party go dead. That's why you see no NDPL. You can look at me something to any kind of way you want to look at me. It's not going to do me anything. That's why we see no United Party. That's why Helen Johnson said it did. They don't plan. They don't invest. They don't plan new seed for the future of the party. We see here in this country here, every election time, this is a new breed for Democrat. This is a new breed for Republican. CDC is the same way. The collaboration, they bring in Joseph Boyka. what sort of what is the generational change that you're going to have?
Mr. So,
I'm going to this line to take the phone call, and I'm going to come back to you. Let me go to Victor Gray. Victor Gray Bani.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah.
I thank the professor and thank something, but let me just say something. You see, the CDC was organized on a principle that since we Liberians, we have come abroad, and most of us have learned, so we should go back to be a contributing factor to our country. Now, you see, in America here, you get more than 1,000 Liberian medical doctors. You get more than 1,000 Liberian or lawyers. They all right they are here. Now, they have cleverly discriminated us from our own country. They have cleverly discriminated us from our own country. So now, see.
Are you there? I'm getting a lot of feedback from your end, Victor. Hello? Okay. I'm not sure. All right, Deliverer, go ahead.
Yeah, first thing first, Professor, that was a very good program. I wasn't aware of it, that it was going to be air. But then again, this is Mr. Social. He does whatever he wants to do. Whether we're ready or not, he continue with it, but that's okay. We're going to have a conversation later on, but that's besides it. But that's a wonderful.
No, we're going to find an exclusive time. That's not his fault. Don't even open it 1 year, because I told you I'm going to come back with my point here. You want to go pick on the professor now. So go ahead.
As I was saying, I really appreciate that. That just to show that you're not just here on LPR expounding on issues and debating issues and having conversation, but you're really contributing even from the diaspora. And so we appreciate it. I really do appreciate that. I know you do all you can here, and those people that continue to follow your leadership icon to teach these children. And, it might not look important now, but 10, 15 years from now, this is the grassroots that you're building educationally. And hopefully these young people, I heard a young lady expressing herself eloquently here, like as though she has already have a master's degree. So can you imagine what she would do if she's not corrupt by the Liberian political whatever landscape in Liberia? But I want to take this opportunity to show and truly say thank you very much, and we'll continue to pray for you and hope that you will do all you can for these children and your institution to be successful. Look, Mr. So, let me tell you something here very quickly. You sit here and think, say, we're bringing in Dr. Baka, he's old. What do you want us to do? Bring these young Liberian, the thief, the rose, TV Liberian who can be stealing. Those are the people you want us to put ahead of our party so they can come and start stealing from us. And so Liberian will go nowhere. Look what Dr. We are there. He brought all these young people. What are they doing? 200 here, 300,000 here. Is that what you want us to do? No, we want somebody with steady hand that will be able to guide these people. What we want is these people that have the experience. And then when they come in, they will then guide the young people to say, no, you can't do that. If you do this, you go to South Beach. That's the kinds of...
Who was sent to South Beach?
That's what Dr. Baka... Please, don't disturb me right now. I'm talking about Dr. Baka. Whenever you hear Dr. Baka, Joe Baka's name is mentioned, whether you are talk show host or not, you stay quiet and let Samson Toh and the liberal progressive talk about Dr. Baka, because he's going to be your next president, whether you like it or not. In fact, you don't even have no voting power anyway. The people in Liberia have already made up their mind. Dr. Baka is going to be the president of the Republic of Liberia. So please, let's give Dr. Baka and his people the opportunity to rule. Now, I'm not saying...
Who's the alternative to Baka that you have?
Nobody.
Oh, nobody. So when he fall down today, then the whole party...
He will not fall down. Don't why? Lord Jesus Christ, please, make Baka stand up. Why you say he must fall down?
That thing you're talking big, you say if I make Baka stand up. What do you mean by that?
Oh.
Get disrespected, President. Get disrespected, man. That's not fair.
No, I mean,
you know something.
You heard the conservatives say it will fall down. So I said, no, the law will make you to stand up. Jesus Christ! I walk into that one.
Look, I mean, I feel bad for my country. Honestly, all of you are not doing all good. You're not doing all good, and that's the fact. Because I mean, just having Joseph Boyka right now, I respect all of his services here, but I think he should play a dominant role now. You're just breaking these same very young people you run because you're going to put them there. Does he have control over these people? They just want people who they can micromanage, that we're going to go into a worse scenario than what we are having here. That for sure. And that's so. I think the party and if they really mean well, the collaboration, they need to start having an extensive and real, painful, deep conversation now as to who to be the future or the face of this sort of collaboration.
Mr. So let me say this. I have to be very honest with you. I am part of the opposition. Liberty Party USA that way, but I still gravitate towards whatever that is good from the opposition. I'm part of it. But to be honest with you, the makeup of what we have right now, if nothing changes, if there's no serious heart-to-heart conversation, we're going nowhere. These people will even do worse than what is happening in Dr. Weah government right now.
You call the people name, don't speak with ambiguity. Can you call the people name who will do worse?
Those that Dr. Boyka and Cummings might bring around to help to facilitate some of the process. They are corrupt, and we're seeing them before. Some of them used to be EULA leaders, where the conflict under their leadership, the conflict of EULA.
Why do you even go far to EULA? These people here, people give that.
But these are the people. Anthony Kessely. Let me be specific. Anthony Kessely. Dr. Boyka wins the election. People like Anthony Kessely will be very close to Dr. Boyka. And Anthony Kessely, under his leadership, you went nowhere. The corruption under Anthony Kessely,
you know that
was ridiculous.
Okay, you know that, and you are helping to raise this alligator.
But I have to. We want to win, and we will win.
You want to win, and so you put
You're not giving me a chance. Let me say this. Let me say this again, Mr. So. I know you interrupt. That's what you do with liberal progressive. That's fine. That's your job. That's what you do. That's how you get paid. That's fine. I don't mind that. But the point that I'm making, the opposition, the makeup of the opposition, Boyka 1, Cummings 2. Now, we, the supporters, will have to have heart-to-heart conversation if we seriously want to move this country forward. If we don't, first thing, immediately after the election, Boyka and his people will want to sideline Cummings. And Cummings and ANC are not people you're going to sideline. That would be your very first place.
Not even want to. He's already been sidelined. He's already kicking off. I really
want to talk about what the opposition would do, but I'll tell you one thing for sure. That ticket, that so-called dream ticket of Boyka 1, Cummings 2 will never materialize.
Professor, can you frame it differently than calling this so-called, please? These are Liberia.
The dream ticket.
Thank you.
The dream ticket will never materialize. Cummings is never going to be number 2 to Boyka. He's not going to do it. Cummings already has a mindset that he's the best Liberian ever to live on the surface of the earth. You know, he's not going to be second.
Are you a registered member of our political party?
Which one? ANC?
Yeah, the collaborating political party. Are you a member?
The Liberal Progressive. I've dealt with the ANC.
If you're not a member, we don't want your advice.
I don't give you advice because I'm saying that it will not materialize. So you guys
because you're saying something that I don't want to hear. So I just want to make my point very clear.
I know you don't want to hear. That's why I'm saying it. So that you can hear it. So you can hear it. But at least one of the things I know for sure.
Oh my goodness.
I'm sure if you guys can make Boyka to stand, that will be a major health and scientific accomplishment. Liberia might get in the Guinness Book of World Record.
Look, let me say this last one, Mr. So then we can move on, please. Look, on a very serious note, if Cummings Cummings, if he were thinking the way I'm thinking, he would take second to Dr. Bakai. Dr. Bakai right now, he's not going to seek second turn. I don't think so. I don't believe that. Now, the issue that perhaps ANC and Cummings might have, and this is what they're going to put on the floor if they agree to go second, that there will be no window curtain, nothing between him and Bakai, that they must be able to see each other anytime and discuss any. They shouldn't put Bakai in like your man, former president, UDA president, what's his name? The guy that just called his name a few minutes ago. They will put Bakai in the bubbles, and then people will not be able to reach it. Bakai, and you listen to Bakai's interview. He's not somebody who was going to be willing to push back on those people that want to put him in the bubble. The man who will come on.
Let me hold you there. You know all of that. This is how you guys are dishonest, disingenuous, and you're hurting this country here. And I say it again, and I want to call you out as it is here tonight. Knowing all what you know, and you still pretending and pushing.
I'm not pretending. I'm supporting.
No, you're supporting. So you put in the interest of these individuals who are already faded away.
So they have in politics, they have what they call resolution. In politics, they have what they have conversation. In politics, they have mind-to-mind conversation.
You are not even in either of those one here. You have pushed Cummings, the ANC people, and that's why
you don't know that. You don't know the game plan. You're not a member of our party. Your undercover sedition.
Yes.
So just stay as an undercover sedition. You don't know anything we do in our political party. You don't know what are the strategy, because Cummings is not coming on.
You don't have no strategy.
You don't know that. You don't know that. You think we CDC? You think we sedition? These are people that have no plan. We have plans.
Where is it? How do you intend to move the country forward? How do you intend
Mr. So, when the time comes, we will explain it to you. But for now, we don't want professor to, you want me to tell you what we're going to do, so the professor, or land professor, or the CDC, take my idea and try to turn it around against us.
Professor, the guy is acting like the very CDC. The same thing the CDC told you when we get there, we'll tell you.
No, we never said that. CDC never said that. CDC presented agenda for prosperity.
Where?
Oh, that was after the election, Professor.
No, that's not true, because I work also on the agenda for prosperity. You are talking about the PAPD, but prior to the elections, we prepared the agenda for prosperity.
This is a CDC that refused to allow their standard bearer to go for a debate. Why you would have been able to explain exactly what plan he had. He got no plan, and you're still got plan.
Look, Mr. To, look, you are the very same one who reminded me a fortnight ago that Western thinks we should be very careful as we kind of like extrapolate that to Liberia. So let me remind you here.
True or false?
85% of our people are illiterate.
No comment.
85% of our people are illiterate. You get nothing from a debate. And when they had that debate in Liberia, it was a theater. Did you watch the one they had with those few presidential candidates who went there? It was a theater. It was a good circus that people could go and entertain themselves. There was no substance that anybody got from it. 85% illiteracy rate. We should try to reduce that illiteracy rate. Then we start talking about debate. Even if I was to run for a position in Liberia, I'm not going to sit down with anybody and say I'm having a debate, because 85% of the people who want to know what I want to do for them, they're not going to understand anything from the debate. So Dr. Weah, I think he proves himself to have a better understanding of Liberian people than those people who went and sat down and started discussing about being a race car being parked for 12 years. And they just gave out enough punching points. So, yeah, I think,
Yeah, the give it to YouTube, but it has to be, I don't know, whether you can equal the punch as well. You can, because with all of these things, with all this sort of, I mean, the CDC, there are a lot of chaotic situation ongoing, distraction. It's almost like a Trump White House. So how you going to punch people?
No, I'm talking about at the time, on the eve of the election that brought us to power, they gave us a lot of information. The debate that they had, it just exposed their weaknesses. But here's what I agree with you. I agree with you that, look, this government has made a huge, they have made significant, they have made a lot of errors. That is unfortunate. Those errors are most of the time unforced. And it's about time with 2 years left. This government has to find a way to prove the Liberian people.
Yeah, too late. Too late. Professor, just agree with me. You guys' time is over and you are going home. And we will sing bye, 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 CDC, bye, bye, bye. We will sing that song.
Maybe, I hope you're not singing a song that will say, Cummings, please retire from politics. You're never going to be president of Liberia. We've said this to other people before. We said we're never going to be president of Liberia, and that happened to be the case. And, so I hope you don't sing that song at that time, because we have 2 years. 2 years is sufficient time to make a turnaround and address some of the concerns the Liberian people
have. No, but on a very serious note, Professor, 2 years, yes, I agree with you. Mm-hmm. But from what is the kinds of dancing that is happening right now in this government, do you see this government turning things around?
It doesn't look like
Professor, let me finish, please. Mm-hmm. Look at the kind of blunder they did with the moving the people from a red light to the new market. These are people that are responsible. They are educated, and they couldn't even match the numbers here in the United States or even anywhere. If you build a building, you have what they call building code, and one of the important building code is what is the occupancies of that building? How many people are going to be? They should have known all of these things. They didn't do that, and these are people you think 2 years you are changing around.
Let me go to this. Let me go to this line here quickly, and I'll come back to you guys. 763 number 4787. Are you there, caller?
Yeah. Good evening.
Good evening. What's your name and where are you calling from?
I'm Ralph. I'm calling from Minnesota.
Welcome to the show. Go ahead.
Thank you, sir. I mean, my disappointment has to do with the professor in studio that is defending the reason why we didn't go for debate. So he's a professor, and that's the highest seat of the nation, the presidency. And you dare defend as a professor, suppose give your platform as a president, suppose give your platform to the nation. Then you capitalize on 85% electricity. This is the same president that said education can build nation. You professor, you know that our president said education don't build a nation. Then the professor is institute. I mean, I'm kind of completely disappointed in that title we have him called professor. So
no, let's get it. No, listen. Hello?
Not going for debate.
Hello?
Presidential debate.
Hello?
Don't worry about that.
Yeah, we agree to express your view, your opinion, to say title. I mean, it's not just something that people throw it on people. It's something that he worked for. He earned it. You can have different political views with respect to what he believes, what he supports, but to say that title, it found a little bit something. Go ahead quickly.
Yeah. I mean, it's just my kind of disappointment. I mean, I'm sorry for being so harsh, but it's kind of so disappointing to me hearing from person of such caliber that kind of doesn't want to give credence to education. That educated right, that being educated are going to a debate and giving folk to the nation what you can put forward if you win as a president. I mean, it should have been formidable. It was being formidable on the part of
and I hope this debate here, all of these people that are contesting, it would just not fall on one side. The opposition, they must have their own debates. Let's see the talking points. Saying as far as I'm concerned, they have not something to his folks. All right, thank you, my man. They have not even put forward any agenda as to how they're going to deliver, how they're going to build the economy, how they're going to downsize government. We're not seeing any strategic plan coming. Professor, you want to react to?
No, before the professor come in, Mr. Solomon just say this to the color. I think I feel bad for the color, because if the color has been, I don't think he's been here for that long. And because if he had been here, if he was here before, he would have seen the video that you played, the kind of contribution the professor is making. So for him to call himself professor, I think he earned it. But that's why we're here, Mr. So, Professor, myself, and even Mr. George, any one of us that we know who we are. Mr. So we know our position in the society. None of these people, no call whatsoever would dislodge us from this position. We know who we are. At this point, they can bring it on. I don't think
it's a very sad situation. What is unfolding in our country is not just within the political realm. The lack of political tolerance by the politicians themselves to contain themselves they have successfully thrown this bait out to their supporters and to every other Liberian. For this reason, people just do not know how to cut the line when they are in disagreement with you, when they do not support or do not agree with your idea, and it's just sad. And I think we're going to be inside for a longer time.
But I think something address the issue. I think we need to move forward. Look, for every one person who called and tried to disparage us yet, we got hundreds of people. Look, I'll be frank with you. This show has promoted my work, and they have promoted me a lot. I go to places and just see, I just want to sit down in the corner and say, oh, you can be on that LPR show there, right? So, you know what? I've benefited from this show a lot.
They ask, why are you supporting the CDC?
Well, they ask me all kinds of questions. Yeah, they ask all those things, And some people
and some of them will say, thank God the liberal is not here tonight to help you out. You're on your own.
But some of them always also ask, some of them always say, thank you, man, for, at least, talking about the government. Sometimes people tell me, say, I wish, people in Liberia would be saying things. I mean, be able to explain it the way you explain it. So, you know what? Guess what? The same way you can, you get the commendation, is the same way you get the criticism and the insult. So, you know what? Look, man, I've been used to that.
I'm not came from in the corridor of EULA, so whereas every other thing
before being you talking about corridor of EULA, I'm talking about
Okay, so let's see this one here. This other footage here was captured by our guys based in Kakata, our correspondent. And this is what I say. I don't know why this government can be farsighted to avoid some of the things.
At the Charles Henry Rennie Hospital, I protested in the middle of 30 months salary, which according to them started since 2015. So the facility is being locked up. You have some of the health workers out there, while some of them are in. The superintendent is being prevented from entering the facility. He's out having conversation with the aggrieved health workers. So just get a gist of what's going on here.
Okay, Professor. These are things every day, consistently, repeatedly. Now we left from Kakata just a few days ago, our correspondent at Moses Toba, and we saw the National Transit Authority. You have a government that is in charge. And like we said, we were just talking on these things here. How do they feel to see these sort of things happen? Or they just want to always have this sort of damage controls to fix up things after, I don't understand why these sort of things can be avoided. Why?
Look,
even though according to what is being reported here this evening from our correspondent on the official website, government denies owing CH Rennie Hospital employees for 30 months arrears. Okay, people can deny it, but how many people already took away what has been put out there within the public domain? You just, the time you want to take to do that damage control, to clarify, to explain, to mend words together, you could be doing something else.
Yeah, my understanding of what is happening at the CH Rennie Memorial Hospital is that the aggrieved individuals are not necessarily government employees. They are volunteers. And, that's a crazy system Liberian government had. I think about a month or a month and a half ago, the government of Liberia met up with 3 major civil society advocacy union organizations: the National Teacher Association of Liberia, the Civil Service Association, a group of them, they met up. And one of the things they came up with was that the government was supposed to work up a procedure that would have rolled in some of these volunteer workers. Because this whole volunteer situation is not just with the healthcare workers. There are some volunteer teachers. There are some volunteer ocean and recreation workers and all of these things. We were supposed to develop a program to roll in these people into full employment. But at the meantime, for example, at the C.H. Rennie Memorial Hospital or at the different health facilities, they do generate some kind of money, and that money is supposed to be used to kind of compensate those volunteer workers. The fact that it's not happening for 30 months, I think it's unfortunate. And how possible that government did not know that those people are not being compensated by the local authority for 30 months? I think it just embarrassing. It looks embarrassing. It's embarrassing for the government. And so the government now is really acting to ensure that a situation like this is not repeated. But I agree with you. They should have been proactive. If you have these volunteer people who are supposed to be paid from local sources, then what is the internal auditor doing? Because if the internal auditor is going to review the people's books, they will know that, oh, I'm looking at your books. I don't see that these volunteer people anywhere, that salary payment, I don't see it anywhere in your report. So are you not paying them? So then it wouldn't have reached a year. It wouldn't have reached even 6 months. The second thing about it is that some of these systems you see, it's the way they were built in Liberia. I'll give a typical example. A person goes for a Liberian government job. Sometimes it takes you 2 years to get your name on the payroll. So all that time you are taking paid, sometimes you get paid in another person's name. They call it substitute payroll. These are systems, these are processes that has to be changed. It just doesn't make sense to keep it like that. But again, I told you in the beginning, the lack of proper monitoring mechanism and the placement of incompetent people in certain positions is what is causing that. And like Dwalu said, it's a bad reflection of the leadership of the country. And I hope the president can act to make sure that these things are not repeated. It's awful. Especially so for somebody to expect pay for 30 months and they don't get it. How do you expect them to survive? That's why you have corruption. That's why somebody's going to take a coronavirus test and give the president a false positive and then they say, look, payments of money, I will change it to a negative. When you're not paying people on time, that's what happens. And so it's unfortunate. There's no way I can, support it. There's no way I can say this is the right thing. No, it's awful. I mean, on every front, it's awful. Every front. And I think the government needs to be very stern, not just criticize what happened, not just disassociate itself from what happened, not just make those clarifications, but the government needs to also send a strong message that, look, we are going to resolve this issue. It will not be repeated.
Look, Mr. So, in terms of this payment situation, and this is not unique to Dr. Weah and the CDC-led government. This thing been going on for years. These are structure issues that are affecting us. But what is sad is this. Many of these young people like Samuel Twe, who are managing the financial affairs, these people are quite aware of these things. Even when Samuel Twe was in elementary school, these kinds of conversation was happening in his neighborhood. When he got to high school, these kinds of conversation was happening in his neighborhood. Because those are people that will not get paid in the community, whatever community that you live in Monrovia, those days. People don't get paid 3, 4, 5 months, and they get paid once, and then the people start dancing. You go to Baker Market, and you buy fish, and you try to borrow the fish. They got what they call LPA in Liberia those days, where you go and buy bedroom set on credit. And at the end of the month, you don't even get your check because your check going straight. He decides what he wants you to give you. So these things have been going. These are not strange things in Liberia, and these people have not had the opportunity to educate themselves, and they know exactly what to do in the financial business to eradicate all of this. But yet still, they allow these things to happen. Why? Because they want to put people, like Professor said, put people in a position who are not capable of running these things. So we're going to continue with this thing. So these people who are the same people today that are in the street demonstrating, their kids, 10, 15 years from now, will do the same thing, because we will continue to repeat over and over. You can bring Joseph Barker said, the corruption will not go away. Only we, the Liberians, want to do this. Look at Dr. Mill, the late president from Ghana, and the stuff that I played yesterday. Really upset with the people who collecting the taxes. And when in Liberia, when I was growing up in Town is a border town. People come from Africa. They pay revenue. They pay for these trucks to come into Liberia. The revenue are not reported correctly. They collect taxes in Town. So the parliament chief take the money and take it to Zlatan, what the district commission. By the time the money get to Montreal, it's not the same $10 that each house is paying anymore. They're not coming back to give a account of what happened to the money. This is what they collected, and this is what they're giving people. And these things have been going on. But when do we change? We're educated now. We have means to make receipt. This is what I'm connecting Bakai and Comey if they come out with these same people. These are people that used to run Liberian organization here in the United States. And for 2-3 years, sometimes they will not make financial report. And when you ask them for some financial report, the leadership, they get angry. And these are same people that are going to go to Liberia and run the Liberian financial institution. What a mess we find ourselves.
Well, then just stay on. Just get the membership card and just join us. So you know that's what you're going to be expecting. So just come now. Let's fix the thing. Stop being undercover sedition.
We don't even know what he said. You know,
oh my goodness.
One day he will Liberty Party USA, another day he will ANC, another time he will ALP. I mean,
they say Alfonso is the undercover sedition, but I think we'll be that people now.
Something is ridiculous. He knows something well, something that is not right. He's supporting it, then he said whether his party. So it's like he already put the interest of the country behind. And you will come right back here. If there's something to try, we'll say, okay, let's give the coalition. Let's see where something to. The same way they did to Asa Zablo, Professor Zablo, they
will not even give me. They will not call me once they
When I talk to Kanga,
they will not even call me. They don't even know me. They don't know who I am. Of course, Madam Lawrence knows Samson too, but she's not gonna call me.
But hold on 1 second, Mr. So the chairman promised to call. Chairman Sanvi promised to call him the other day. Has he called you?
Oh, you try to put, you see a man like I'm post Sanvi on the line, but you see they got a bad.
Sanvi and myself, we're good friends. We talk.
But did he call you? He promised to call you. Did he call you? So you see your
Sanvi's not even trying.
That's Liberty Party business. The last time we come here and can't in public to not talk about Liberty Party. Who
used to hang out with Brodsky. See Brodsky being gone, that they end all the other thing is there on the topic.
Alfonso, as for us, maybe our own, you say our scheme later on, but his even before they get us there.
The way I see them behaving here, where they can't have a little settlement among themselves. ANC, the Unity
Mr. So, you and Professor count on it and take it in the bank. Once we win the election, both of you, we will ask for your birth certificate, the long form of your birth certificate.
Mr. So, do you see that this man is trying to join the CDC? Take it to the bank. Where did he get that phrase from? Take it to the bank.
That's great, right?
Okay, all right. I'll give it to you.
Take it to the bank.
I know. I told you that the man trying to come over. Right. Some in the country, so we'll just make the arrangement for you to meet.
So, yeah, before we wrap up here, this is, but on a serious note, something with respect to what the professor is doing, and that's part of the kind of collaboration. We have to get it out there. He didn't ask me. I just, maybe he wondering how I pulled that tape. That's something he's doing. And I would like to go behind the scene to check to see what people are doing, so that but a guy, they're not like people who can talk loud, talk like that. So they want to go cool. But he's doing an extraordinary job. And I think we have to sell it out there, not just only to the LPR, but to the family, because what is happening, he impacting knowledge, wisdom. So you listen to the young lady there, and even the institution. I don't know whether his CDC government giving some sort of subsidy. I doubt it.
Let me tell you something before. I know you want to end this show. Somebody called me and told me that I should start fooling the people. That what I'm doing in Liberia, the government is giving me the money to make me look good because they want me to run for Makiti County. So I'm saying, okay, let's get it. The first school I opened was in Monrovia. So giving me this money to run for Makiti County, why would I open my first school in Monrovia in the first place? No, I don't take a penny from the government of Liberia. There are a lot of people who have called me to reach out to the government to see, because based on what our schools are doing, to see if the government can provide, opportunities for me to expand my programs all over. Look, last week, I don't know what I said on this show. You got people coming from as far as Nimba County. Because if you cross Monrovia and you get outside of Monrovia, there's almost no school outside going all the way to that side that is offering any kind of vocational or technical education classes for high school students. So now we're reaching as far as Nimba. People are coming from Nimba or to attend our school. There are a couple of students who moved from Monrovia to Kakata just to attend our schools. There are people who are residing in the United States here now who are now reaching up to me and getting their kids enrolled in that school. So, but no government support. And I do it without any interest whatsoever in any kind of governmental position or so. When you do these good things, then maybe sometimes the people decide and say they want you to do it, but no, not so. I was blessed. I got 2 degrees on a government scholarship. 2 degrees. I got to give back. I mean, that's all we are doing it for. And I thank you for, bringing those things up, those things to the public.
We'll be playing here more and more, and we're going to go much deeper. But before we send our guys out there in the field, we have to talk to the administrators. So no, because there are people here who just talk and there's nothing behind their talk. I don't want to be a donkey. Donkey, just there, people around you. No, we need people of productive people who can, as you critique as well, you must be able to give back, so that when you're talking, you can have that sort of fear. So your fruit will bear out, it will speak for itself. So, but we're going to talk that off camera, and that we're going to get our guys to go up there, and like we said, whatever thing we can do for our end here to get it out. And I've seen there, from the commercial, looking for things. There are good Liberians out there. They will definitely do something. We have to get it out there.
Some Liberians have already been doing that.
And we asked for that. I believe if there's any specific link, so that we'll put it out there to we all have to give to make that donation. I mean, it's the generations of Liberia. That's what I'm looking at, not necessarily my daughter or son or relative, not necessarily to be there, but what the institution is providing, the contribution to society. Okay, guys, we're going to be leaving it here. Can you do everything possible to make us to get Molu by Molu? I went to CDC compound and I ran behind him like jet plane running behind something in the wrong way, and all our yelling, no comment. Even though we chat, but it was in a little speed. I have that ticket. But can you do that for us to have that?
I'll call Chairman Malu tonight and see, and then do some little run around.
I don't know why these people, not only the CDC, everybody, they become so selective where to go, where not to go. They don't want to be asked questions.
Look, my brother,
what is the problem?
I was having a conversation. I don't want to throw Dennis Jar out there, but I had a conversation with Dennis Jar the other night. Like almost an hour or so. Yes, the other day, almost an hour conversation. I wouldn't want to say this is the best show of all the Liberian shows, but I would say one thing. Yeah, you don't see the host here being very disrespectful to their guest. You don't hear curse words coming from us. We try to be very professional in our engagement. We have our own positions and stuff. So you would think that people will rush to a show like this or to focus on Liberia. I'm not trying to advertise for them. Interestingly, the people want to go to the places where there are scandals, where they will go after each other's throat, where the host, the panelists will be disrespectful to the guests, and they will have this, fighting match. Liberia, we reach this stage where our people love to see this commotion, this fighting and disagreement. That's what you see happening. It's unfortunate. But they run for the show. They run for the show. You got somebody who just from the beginning of the show to the end of the show, they use profanities. And they got 2,000 to 5,000 followers. So then it shows that way you don't ever hear any profanity. We have about 400, 500 people on. But you know what? The numbers don't make a decision. Here's the thing. There are a lot of people who sometimes are not watching our show when it is on, but they go back to watch it,
Interestingly, I just have to say this here. I was into refugee camp before the Liberal can make his closing to remind. There's a Liberian in the foreign nations. They are in from Burundi. They are now in Cameroon. Everything, all of the things that we do here, whether you get one person, your people are paying attention. People are watching, and there are some people that just watch. They don't say anything. I was surprised. One early morning, I was at work. I think around like 2:30 something, and this person called me. I said, "But who is this person calling?" And I'm like, "Oh, this is Afonso." I say, "Yeah." People use different people name profile, and then from one thing to another, he introduced himself. I'm so person within it, working within the UN field, but I currently know them very well. But people change profile name and all of that in Cameroon right now. But I was watching one of your programs and having some of our foreign missions people that came, but the conversation was very, very much interesting. And I want you guys to keep it up. Because while you're talking, language is carefully to watch what you put out, the conversation, the engagement is intense, but very constructive. People making their point, that's good. But unfortunately, that's the society we have. And sometimes when we have leaders, people come in government, and then people begin to get surprised. How can we get here? Of course, you have to get the system to get where we are. So you're not going to change anything. And that's where some of the frustration coming from, because the media now is so much of mixture. The entertainment aspect is there, the amusement aspect is there, and the real public relation aspect is there. The propaganda is there, and all of that, the combination. And that's where it's so much crucial, because what you listen to, it also impact your mental processing aspect. Because what you listen to, you might potentially have to put it into action by doing something. And that's where the frustration comes in, when the people are talking and they are not seasoning their tone. Then of course, if it worked for Mr. A right now, tomorrow it's going to work for B. And so I won't be surprised. The Liberal Progressive.
Mr.
So what are we
very much.
What are we going?
I want to be a little bit different from you and your professor.
That's what I've been the case here. So
Mr. So I'm not here for kumbaya. You and the professor kumbaya, who gonna come out or show how we're gonna treat them like, that's not what I'm gonna talk about. What I want to talk about, if you come on this show, people will ask you tough questions with respect, but it's going to be tough questions. We're not here for kumbaya, how friend we are. We met you on the refugee. That's not what I'm here for. You come on this show, and the Liberian people will want to hear the truth from you, and we will push the truth out of you if possible. If you want to come out here and degrade yourself and lie, it's up to you. But we come out here and we ask you questions, favorable up to the Liberian interest. We're not here to push the CDC line or whatever. You come here, Manu, we will ask you about the local top take. and we will ask you. We're not going to hide it. So I'm just telling you. So if you want to come, but I know Manu is a very brave man, a brave young man. He will come out here. He has not done anything wrong. So he will come out here. But I just want to say that you and Professor Kumba here, you're really killing this show tonight. This is not time for Kumba here. The liberal progressive is here as a counterweight to you two sedition, and I'm a Liberty Party USA. And all I want to say to you here, Mr. So, is thank you very much for a wonderful show tonight. And but on a very serious note, the idea of people working and not getting paid,
it's bad.
They should stop.
Yes,
our people, the government, and the people who are helping Dr. Weir, please help us all. If you don't have the money to pay the people, let them know.
Why would they not even get money? Buses running. Why would I even get buses running back and forth?
I understand, but I'm just making this. I'm just making this statement. I'm just making this statement. So there's no reason. There's no reason for that. If, for example, I owe you, and I'm not going to make it, I should make all efforts to let you know. I'm supposed to pay you tomorrow, but I can't make it right now. You have that conversation. Make the people feel part of the process, but you don't care. You in your car with tinted window. You don't even see them. So how you expect the people to say that to have confidence in you? This is bad. And for me, I can't wait 2 years to be over because Professor, we will take over and we will do better because we have plan. The opposition we have plan. CDC ain't got no plan. Liberian people, CDC ain't got plan, yeah. And I lie to you. I'm telling you the truth. We got the plan. Thank you, Mr. So.
Got a plan. When you bring Young to?
Mr. So, the show is over. Why would we have to bring up issue again?
No, I'm asking when will we have Young
Young is not Liberty Party USA. Young is Liberty Party Liberia. You want Ben Sevi? I can ask him to come on.
Well, Ben Sevi, that Liberty Party USA?
Ben Sevi, Liberty Party USA and Liberia.
Okay.
You are
Liberty Party USA.
But we just one person from Liberty Party USA. Who are some of them other than Ben Sevi? Who's the chairman?
Okay, on a very serious note, we have a young man. We have a young man, very intelligent, very smart.
Ooh,
probably you know who it is. Call him Phyllis Swat.
Yeah, interactive with him. Yeah.
They're not kicking
up. If Liberty Party were to take control, Phyllis Swat would have been one of those that were going to make Liberia to say, yes, we have arrived. This young man, if you work with Phyllis Swat, you'll be surprised.
They're not even going to incorporate him. That's not strange. They're not going to take him. Once it gets in Liberia, that's a different, you're in a different terrain. You know that. So, and okay, well, guys, there are some crazy things that we are hearing, but I'm waiting to see how that is coming from Capitol Hill. I don't know, but I will talk to the professor behind the scene. But it's crazy. I'm not sure what's going to happen.
So why you want to talk, Professor? What kind of secret business you and Professor Ghana? That society business you're coming to bring the LPR now?
Just how you can put things, but out. You can't. You never call me. So what's the point?
Oh, so that you see that CDC society bush are coming to one side.
Yes.
Okay.
Another question,
Mr. So. I believe this is supposed to be a wonderful show tonight, but I think we're going to end it up on a usual note of me saying I am here as a counterweight to you and the why the center right? I mean the center right.
Oh, I forget before we go, folks. We don't have our man. Pa George is not here tonight. He's not. My understanding that was the last message.
Weeda has not come by since I took this position of a liberal progressive. Professor is here. He's trying his best, but I'm also taking over. And then Mr. Amos George, who's supposed to be a straight shooter, he's not even here tonight. And you, Mr. So, you can't even find your 40. I am in control. The liberal the opposition, that is.
Amos George is not well. When you say George is not on, that means he's not well. So
okay. All right, then I'll take it back. I will reach out to him.
Yeah, he's been posting. He's been posting.
Yeah, our prayers and thoughts are with him, even though
another thing, Mr. So, before you close,
are they calling? Let me put it out here because the Liberia, I don't hide anything. I'm hearing from up the hill. Are they asking the president to make a reshuffle? They are asking for specific people to retweet his government from Washington.
From Washington D.C.
Yeah, these are good friends of a reporter. They are talking with the administration. Are you hearing anything like that?
No, I don't know. I don't hear it.
You mean the American government is asking the Liberian government to do reshuffle?
Yeah, that's what he's saying.
We're sovereign government, and we will not allow the foreign government to interfere into our daily activities of the Republic of Liberia.
Why you fold your hand like somebody grieving for their mother, or your pa being there, your mom being there? Why are you acting like a child who doesn't have?
Mr. So, I am talking. Yes, the flag behind me. We are a sovereign government, and we are a sovereign country. Interfere into our daily affair. However, if we want help, we will ask them.
No, what happens? Every friendly government or other people or people within the system, they will always, not that they're going to tell you, but they're going to make a recommendation, certain people that work in government. If the international community don't just feel right to do business with them, you know what happens? It comes back to the national government. So I
don't think they would make the demand like that.
They can't demand. It would be some sort of diplomatic. It would be done behind the same. Those are credible information coming. You will not see it getting out there so much easily in the public domain, but you see people talking, hey, you know what? In order to change the dynamics, this is what you need to do. This is what it's.
I've heard, yeah, those things happen. Those rumors have been coming. People will just say something. Sometimes you ask them for their sources, they can't give it. But yeah,
nobody want to disclose their source.
Yeah, but let me,
Mr. So, if this is true, then we in the opposition will accuse the United States of trying to derail our opportunity to succeed.
Yeah. But let me, before we go ahead, before we leave, I think we all do these different shows. We are brothers and sisters. I heard, I saw a posting from Kev Hassan from the Spoon Talk that he needed prayers. I think he was at the hospital last night with his, I think was it last night also with his son?
So, yeah, I think I heard they were measuring that too.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So I think we just want to say that from our end, we send our prayers and thoughts to him.
Is that he? I think either Ben or one of the guys, I think Ben, was that yesterday or today that he didn't show up? I don't know whether that he or his
son. Yesterday also, I think he didn't show up yesterday. His son. I don't watch him today, but it said
he wasn't on. He wasn't on. I think his son.
Yeah, Kev posted that he was at the Children's Hospital, I think, in Washington.
Yeah, I think his son now well. Our prayers and thought goes out.
Yeah, our prayers with him, of course.
Yeah, other people, and I mean, we have to create that political tolerance. We can be different with people, to be swift and fast to convince people. Kev adds, I can tell you, he adds pageantry to that network. Just how we get widow. Somebody tweeted one time and say, "Spoon TV, Kev."
Don't do that. Don't do that.
We don't hear. So when you hear Kev say, let me say something. Here's one of what. Yeah, what I would say. So when those two things, when you see it go together, I say, yeah, this guy right. Okay, gentlemen, let's draw down the curtain here this evening. I want to thank you so much for being part of it. And of course, our beautiful viewers, follower, listeners, please follow us. Let us just discuss Liberia. We can agree, disagree, but at the end of the day, it's all about Liberia. that's how we're going to bring the curtain down this evening. Beautiful, beautiful Wednesday evening here. Please stay safe. The Delta variants or whatever it is still around. Make sure you take all necessary precautions. Hey, Mr. Hammond, thank you so much. Vivian and Brown, to Boykai, Dix, Janenton.
I know it hurts you, and I know it's painful. No,
Mr. John Tuan, Kwame, Samuel, and all of you beautiful people.
I saw your secret in English. Your wife is getting married to another.
Best Lord, and all of you folks here, we thank you for your time. I share with us here. It is because of you, not that you don't have anything to do, but you want to know what is going on within your country and even outside of your country.
Because you live in zero.
Yes, we're going to let it go, but these people must be held accountable, including ourselves and any other Liberians. Our actions, what we say, what we put out there, we must all be held accountable. No one is above the law. You see what is happening in South Africa? We need to have the same thing. No one should be above the law. There are some people supposed to be kept somewhere in order for peace to prevail, because when these people are around, they create drama and chaotic situations.
Some go to meeting, mommy can say no, Johnny, just let it go.
We are willing to let go, but they must be honest to us. They must stop fighting the country. They are creating the problem for our country. They are putting our country down. So, hey, Mr. President, you got to step up to the task. There are people in the government, for God's sake. And this is where this whole friendship thing here, we need to draw the fine line. And we see it happening here today. People are doing things because they are their friends or they are one of their own. They don't say anything. This is how. You don't see this. What is happening today is not an overnight thing. It is not an overnight thing. So please, let us do it for the good for our country.
Yeah. Mighty flow.